So can you try a little The follow, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of a world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all fight at the last strike. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of a world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all fight at the last strike. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first finals of the weekend. Serenity Gaming Division 3 finals about to kick off as the Villain Protecting Guardians take on AUEC Team A. I'm your play-by-play caster, Milky Cereal, and joining me in the casting booth once again is the fantastic Nicholas. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Woke up early just to see this. It's gonna be so great. We've been watching these guys throughout multiple months, and now it's culminating in the finals here today. And I'm so excited to see what these teams put up because they've been showing so much adaptation throughout the split.
Yeah, as you mentioned, getting up nice and early. I'm used to, staying up late until 6 a.m., whereas now I'm waking up at about 8 a.m. So, how times do change. But as you mentioned, there are some neat little quirks to mention about the players. And actually, this is something that I do want to get into heading into our first game of this best of 5 finals. Because, so many times we talk about, oh, what is the perfect way to draft this? What is the perfect way to execute this? At the end of the day, these players, they aren't challengers. Okay, some of them are diamonds, but the majority are high plat to diamond. And I want to talk more about the mistakes that are possible. I want to open up the box and I want to look at things from a whole different perspectives. Because we are in preseason, we've just had our first patch of preseason. There are changes. What are the big mistakes that both teams could be making on this patch?
Alright, I think the biggest mistakes right now are usually centered around Drake. Like, if you don't have the proper setup, if you don't have the actual jungler to deal with it, who can even perhaps solo it if needed, then you're making a huge mistake. Your jungler needs to have bot lane priority, that's just a given, and your bot lane and mid lane has to know how to properly set the waves up so they can take it. If that's not happening, then your team is sure to lose just throughout the entire game because the Drakes are now so damn insane. The only other big mistake I currently see is people not really realizing how strong tanks is. Tanks are currently the strongest position, or the strongest role in topside, and it's just not respected simply because Congress True Damage got removed and Kleptomancy. So the two runes that were good against tanks are now no longer in the game. So yeah, unless you're playing against a Vayne, Darius, or Fiora, go a tank top lane with a Bramble Vest, or I guess you can go for like an Infernal Mask if you're up against full AP. But it's just gonna be so damn easy to do for a team, even though it's gonna be the most boring experience in your life.
Yeah, and while we were sitting in the spectator part of the lobby, we saw our good old Methalata joining, and it's been a while since I casted on him, but he's most certainly one of those players. He plays those split pushers in the top lane. His teams just leave him isolated to do whatever he wants, and he does it so well, and I'm expecting to see things like the Scion, maybe even a Shen. We've seen him on the Cho'Gath playing these champions so well and so effectively for his teams.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff coming out, and these teams are actually known especially for one pick in particular, and one that we actually thought wasn't gonna survive preseason in Draven. Draven has been always a contested pick this season, and he was also so in last season, even with all the ADCs being gutted out of the game. So it's actually kind of surprising that just one patch made him just almost vanish. With Conqueror changes actually no longer giving him a way to deal with tanks, as well as Kleptomancy being not in the game anymore, he will really just struggle to get into this mid to late game stage of the game where dragons can absolutely just tear teams apart. But I do still expect to see a bit of priority on them. They might still have played a lot of it, but the adaptations I've currently seen is just get that priority in the bot side, get that in the mid lane with wave clear, and then go to the dragon. That should be what we see from these guys, and I hope that we get to see some Draven priority.
Yeah, the Draven priority would be absolutely massive. Something else we should mention is you've been hyping up the Drake, the setup around the Drake, and I do feel that right now, if you can get that priority around the bot lane and start snowballing and get, well, that effectively leads to your priority around Drake. That is so big, and we've been seeing the rise somewhat in prominence of the likes of the Caitlyn Moore being a fantastic counter to the Zyra Khan anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I do want to just quickly shine a light on, because there has been a lot of people who hasn't even realized this has changed. They still just take that Rift Herald and think, okay, that's actually a favorable trade. I do just quickly want to mention, while Rift Herald did get buffed this patch, it is now worth taking. But the patch before that, it was gutted to a degree that it was not even worth going topside, getting a kill and Herald if the enemy got one kill bot side, because they would just get that much vision over the entire bot side that it absolutely did not matter that Rift Herald existed. So
Yeah.
just to make it very clear, red buff is stronger than Rift Herald. Now Rift Herald is stronger than red buff. But still, dragons are just that insane, and once the two first have spawned, it will now be certain which drakes spawn. I have finally figured out the system. And with those four, it's important to know that drakes are better if you stack them. Having a splash of everything is always great, but just the consistency of knowing, okay, that's what we do for the rest of the game, that's insane. Especially if you get like Mountain, which is the strongest base buff, or if you get the Fire or Ocean Soul, because they are insane as well. And I would even say if you can get that 40% CDR on the Veigar, you will start seeing some success.
Yeah, and of course those stacks are going to be so important, and it is RNG depending on what the team's dropped. And you mentioned the Mountain Drakes, and I want to look over to the side of Devilian, because you know we were talking about before the game how sometimes they like to pick the Draven, lots of tanks around, or even the Twitch Lulu, and then pick the likes of a Jarvan, Galio, maybe another tank in the top lane just for all of this protection. And if that's the case, that Mountain Drake will add so much durability to that front line.
Yeah, definitely so. And I do expect that if somebody is going to go for some tanks, it's gonna be protecting Guardians. They have already played a bit of Cho'Gath and Sejuani when they have run their actual famous now Twitch Lulu, because that has been their historically best win rate as champions. It's still a little under the priority of the Draven, but they are just that good at executing it, and it's really good once you actually get those drakes. So I would definitely not underestimate that particular setup with Cho'Gath, Twitch, Lulu. I'm just kind of scarce at saying how good it's gonna be, as I've not seen any of those champions during preseason yet.
And actually, I do want to go to this point again because you mentioned the Sejuani, but right now I'm really not a fan of the Sejuani. I'm not a fan of
Yep.
any late game jungler right now just because of the priorities we're seeing around Drake. I want to see the Olafs. I want to see the Rek'Sais. Anything that is early game and can put tons of pressure down, lots of ganks. That's what I want to be seeing come through. And in fact, even with something like the Olaf for the side of AUEC, that might be getting flexed around, as we do know. Actually, wait, I was going to say their top laner plays it, but Mephalata jumping in, I'm not sure if he plays the Olaf.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, because there's a lot of thing that has happened in this preseason. Most importantly, while they gave more routes junglers can take now that Grump has been buffed in EXP, they've kind of also gutted the role, unintentionally probably, because if a jungler now falls behind or is not perfectly executing all his time, he will be not only levels down on his ADC, but 3 levels on his other jungler who may have done the exact perfect route. So getting perfect priority, never making a mistake, that's the role of the jungler. Which means skirmish heavy junglers that spike at level 3 or 4 and just immediately get all the pressure ensuing on the map. Can go for a Drake, can go for a gank. Either way, they need to be early game champions. There's no way to go these late game press R champions if you can't also do something in the early game. So supportive type junglers, no way, especially for Sejuani.
Yeah, and I do want to go back to this kind of style of jungling that you mentioned, because so many times you hear, indeed I hear from my friends as well, like, oh, I've done the exact same clear path as him, and how is this jungler already so far ahead? But I feel jungling right now is so tactical, is so, 200 IQ right now,
Exactly.
that it's not just, hey, look, there are camps, let me take the camps. It's not, hey, look, this is the fastest way for me to take the camps. It's, no, I'm going to take these camps. Where is my lane going to be when I get there so that I can get off the most effective gank at the time? Is this Drake going to be up? If I get my gank off now on the bot lane, and then 2 minutes later the enemy jungle gets his gank off, but then there's a dragon up, all of a sudden my gank is far less relevant than the enemy junglers.
Yeah, basically you're tasked with doing 3 things at the same time. You're supposed to clear every single camp as it comes up. You're supposed to fight the enemy jungler and win and take his camps. You're also supposed to gank for lanes and get objectives. All 3 at the same time.
And
that's kind of hard. So therefore you do Yankos, Self-Made and Cersei levels of playstyles all at the same time. So we're gonna see some definitely hard removal of let's say less experienced jungle players and only have the core remaining. So the better jungler wins thing is probably going to be less relevant, as it's either going to be a guy who is a jungler or an autofill jungler who's going to play jungler position from now on.
It's no longer better jungler wins, it's smarter jungler wins. And I did kind of want to ask you, as a jungle main yourself, as a coach, is it more down to kind of jungle difference now, or we talk about how strong kind of bot lane is just because, I mean, sure, ADC is kind of strong, but again, that translates directly in the early game to that Drake priority.
I think it's a lot in the ADC. I think ADCs are very, very happy and very mad about the meta changes, because it basically forces the jungler to go bot. And what I would do before was basically just ignore bot lane for the entirety of the game. I hear my ADC say, but at the same time, I'm 11-0, and my top lane and mid laner are both getting the turret blade, so they should be happy as well. So, but now with the Drake priority, I can't do that. And therefore, when we just see that it's the bot lane who has to set up for these ganks, which they're not used to, especially ADC, and they also have to carry the mid and late game, they have a lot to do now. Like, they memed about the junglers never doing anything, because they didn't have to think 200 bajillion IQ, but now they actually have to set up waves properly instead of just going autopilot. They have to set up ganks properly instead of going autopilot, and that's just not what ADCs are known for in laning phase.
See, that's why you have us big brain supports there, just to spam freeze the lane, However, we are in pick some bans, the Zaya, Rengar, and
Yeah.
Ornn being banned away
Oh,
from
my
the
Rengar.
side of AUEC as
Yeah.
AUEC banned the LeBlanc, Morgana, Echo, and I think I heard you mentioning that, Draven. We talked about how both teams would be prioritizing this
Oh,
pick,
that's enormous though. I would still
but
like to see that more.
we'll see
Yeah,
if
we can agree that that's the most broken champion, right?
what
uh,
Nautilus.
yeah, like it's definitely been the strongest support for a long time,
True.
or at least like top 3. And yeah, the Casio as the counter pick is perfect as well. And
Yeah.
it's just really good for any kind of lane. He can play so many different styles. It's just great to see. Casio, while Conqueror did get nerfed like half of its healing, and as well as let's say the 6 seconds now instead of 8, it's not gonna affect Casio as much, but her healing, which was the reason she took it before, did definitely get dropped a bit. And Pike as well, that's gonna be gold income and playmaking in the bot lane. And
But
to make up
speaking
for
of,
that, yeah, sorry.
no, I was gonna say, speaking of that gold income, there we go. We get the Draven in that we did want to see, and I did see Illusion getting paired with Pike the other day, and maybe we could be in for 2 aggressive bot lanes.
Yeah, and the reason we're seeing a lot more prominence of Lucian is that unlike like the majority of this year, we have not seen Lucian with one main build. Usually there's been like 3 main builds, 2 main builds, and this time we only have one, and that's PTA, Bloodthirster, Essence Reaver, and then either any kind of Seal or IE. And that's just so much easier to grasp than having to change the build every single time, which makes Lucian way more consistent. As Nunu, the best jungler in my opinion, is finally picked up, especially for competitive. Else, I would say Olaf. Olaf's just insane. Pick him every game.
Olaf and Nunu are very, very high priorities. I think I personally rank the Olaf just a little bit higher.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
Like
don't,
it's insane. It's absolutely mad lad broken.
I don't get why we aren't seeing Olaf getting, but maybe it's not in either jungler champion pools, and that's one thing to mention. Again, you know, I talk about how these teams aren't challenger; they can't play every single champion known to mankind.
What? They can't go new like 18 different champions over 18 different games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do want to just kind of hover over the fact that this Cassiopeia can be flexed around to a multitude of roles. It is likely to be going.
So locked on for
Yeah.
good reason.
I'm saying it is likely to go, and then I'm thinking, wait, hang on a second. I don't know where this is likely to go.
Yeah, Casio has not seen a lot of bot lane priority lately, so I would like to rule that out. I can't, but I would like to. So it's most likely going to be seen mid or top. It's a top lane counter pick, but a mid lane stable. So I would like it to go mid lane, but top lane could be great if we don't see a great pick coming out here from the Protecting Guardians.
Yeah, and I think the Lucian ban is sensible, but the Caitlyn is open, and I think that would also be a very, very sensible pick. Again, has a lot of early game presence to deal with that Draven.
But what about an Ashe? Okay, Tristan. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We have seen Trace play that before, but I definitely do think that's an interesting one. We definitely needed to see an ADC with high use of attack speed, and Tristana definitely does that. Now they both have engaged bot lanes, giving priority in lane, so it's going to be really up to junglers here, as we see Nunu and Jarvan both like to gank bot lane a lot.
Go on, put the Akali top and pick up the Galio for us. Why don't you, Devillion?
Oh hell yeah, let's do it. Oh, Malphite, Maokai.
See, you say this, and now there's going to be a Yasuo locked in, but
yeah,
the Kale
that's a
is
Kale.
getting hovered up.
Yeah, Netflix
now,
is still known for this Kale. It's
okay.
just one of his small little pocket picks that he has shown every now and then, and he just absolutely knows how to play that champion. And he is insanely good with his ult. We need to see him just pop off with the damage level of ult. Even though Kale, as a champion, doesn't really have an identity right now. Oh yes, Mephalata with his solo Q fighters. Let's go. Alright, can I take that one away?
Yeah, you know, when we were thinking about where's Cassiopeia going, and then we said top, I thought, wait, sure, Cassiopeia top works, but this is Mephalata we're talking about.
Yeah.
If it's not a champion that can split push in some way, he is not going to pick it.
Yeah, okay, so Mephalata is especially known for solo Q fighters, and picking them in these competitive games. So his Yorick, his Olaf, they are gonna be high priority for him. And now we're gonna see him just how dominant he could be with the Neo Conqueror, or maybe even Grasp, I guess, or Yorick. I would like to see how the Yorick is going to play out in the new meta, because I have not seen once. I don't think it's on anyone's priority, except for maybe Mephalata. So this is going to be an extremely fun experience. And I think it's quite hard to decide what both teams' identity is going to be. I think it's a bit more late game here for the side of AUEC, but the Villain basically have the better dragon control, even though they don't have the Nuno Consume.
Yeah. And when we do look towards this dragon control, again, it falls so hard towards this bottom side of the map. I mean, this is such a volatile matchup. Nautilus Draven into the Tristana Pike. If Tristana Pike are the ones who, you know, you could be getting that 2v2 fight early on, that comes down to you. One auto attack difference. If Draven's the one who picks up the kill, great, he gets those stacks. If Draven doesn't get the kill and gets killed instead, he loses those stacks, and instead it's going to be the Tristana who's looking to snowball into that mid game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of this game has to be looked at not only the junglers but also the mid laner. We have seen Fnatic, especially during this year, doing the 3-man mid lane into going bot lane. But I would still like to just see the 2-man mid lane. That's also fine. And then going bot lane after that. Because if we see a 4-man gank bot lane, that's insane. Like, that's the kind of macro you need to have to get this meta to work for you. And with Akali Jarvan and Nuni plus TP Casio, it should be easy enough for these guys to just get a priority in some way, and then after that, just completely smashing your enemy bot lane.
Yeah, but I do want to, you know, I personally favor the AUEC bot lane a little bit, and that's not because I don't like the Draven. I think it's because of their survivability to a gank, or their susceptibility to a gank. Because if Nunu comes up, the Draven, sure, he's got the E, that's his best way out. Whereas if the Jarvan comes, you've got the Phantom Undertow for Pike, you've got the Rocket Jump for Tristana, which has an insane buffer that just lets her escape pretty much anything. And then on top of that, you've got the Buster Shot when you do hit level 6.
But listen, there is the Nautilus hook. You remember
True.
all the weird stuff that can happen with that interaction.
Yes,
I have to
biggest
respect
hitbox in the game.
Definitely, like, it's the most interesting pick of the year, because it has been so consistently strong, but we still don't understand why. Why did they make him like this?
Yeah.
But
Where was he
pressing
last season?
feels good, man. Yeah, I definitely think when Nautilus ult comes out, they either get the kill or they lose the fight. That's just how it's gonna go. So let's see how they can set these plays up, because who's on a timer here? I would say it is indeed the Villain, and Protected Guardians here now needs to get that early Drake priority, get that soul, get to make sure that the Casio doesn't get Elder Dragon, because that would be scary as hell, and then also just completely demolished with this Draven, else the pig itself has just kind of ruined what they want to do.
Yeah, and we'd just like to take a moment to say a massive thanks to our sponsors here at Serenity Gaming, Far Up, Hungry.dk, Kim's, Steam Boss, and Trickass Esports. But going back to this game, because I do feel Devilian Protecting Gardens, they do have the kind of late game safety net of a Kale, but I do agree they're on a timer because, you know, the Kale's not going to be on her own anyway, able to answer a Yorick split pushing, a Cassiopeia late game, and a Tristana late game.
Yeah, especially because while Kale used to be the absolute best late game champion for like way too many patches, she is now actually a mid game champion. Like, she spikes at level 6 for the first time, and she spikes again at level 11, getting absolute mad power. Then she will have about 2 items, and that's when she does the most. And then once you hit the 3 items, level 16, that's when you start being just alright, and then after that you just fall off. While you do have an insane amount of damage, you don't have much mobility. Whenever you ult, you can't auto attack, and generally speaking, you're an AP threat. You are not this true damage hyper carry that you used to be. So tanks actually don't melt as quickly anymore. So having to respect that Kale is no longer the absolute dominant champion, especially when the ult that Kale does is mostly just about the damage that it deals, more so about the ADC's damage output during it.
As we are about to get underway for game one. Oh my god, Nicholas, I was about to say of the night. I'm so used to casting in the evening. My body is not ready for this. My head is just not in the right spot. I'm looking outside and it's a daylight. What's going on?
Listen, it's 34 in the night Friday.
It's 34 in the night. Ah.
Yeah.
That is the best way to look at it. I mean, let's just think that I haven't gone to sleep yet, so it is still night time for me. However, the teams have made their way onto the Rift for the first time for the Serenity Gaming Division 3 finals. Everything that these teams have done, building up, getting used to their teammates, working together as a team, learning the nuances between members, it all comes down to this now.
Yeah, and I do like to just shout out them new keystones as well, with Conqueror, the reworked Aftershock, as well as just the few PTAs for the ADCs, because they can't use the new Conqueror anymore. Sad for them. That's just the only things we're gonna see. And we are seeing a little bit of poke and a little bit of warding, but just very standard, just stay in your own lane, make sure the enemy doesn't invade.
But again, you know, every single time I cast, I just instantly turn towards the junglers, because it is so pivotal right now. First Drake of the game is going to be that Cloud Drake, arguably, you know, the strongest Drake. When we talk about souls, it's probably the Ocean with that mad lifesteal. But in terms of just kind of the Drakes on their own, Cloud and Ocean are at the top, and Cloud a little bit ahead with that just standard 10% cooldown reduction on the ults.
Yeah, Mountain and Cloud on the base buff is definitely the insane one. Meanwhile, if you get the 4 Drakes, you definitely want the Infernal or the Ocean, because that's just the two best statted ones, as we do see already a bit of fighting bot lane.
Dredgeline finds his mark, but the Bone Skewer comes in, and now they might be looking to turn this around, but the damage coming out from Element. And it will just be a trade of HP bars, but we're already seeing just how volatile that bot lane can be.
Yeah, and these guys are just saying, alright, we're just setting this up from the start. That's an engage.
Yeah, and we talked about that rocket jump. Oh, the turret shot's coming through, and that's the ignite under turret, trace to race, super low. And, you know, we talked about that rocket jump buffer, but if you go in level 1, there ain't no rocket jump on the Tristana.
Yeah, and only things we have left in battling now is the flashes and the supports as well, so summoners are already down. Junglers are just gonna clear the top lane and get down to this bot side, else they're trolling.
Yeah, and, you know, if either jungler had decided, okay, we're gonna pass towards bot side early on, this would have been first blood. But in the mid lane, Flag and Drag, they find the knock up onto Dominus. However, Rottenmeier is low, flash away, and it will be first blood going over to the Twister.
Yeah, such a nice play here, and just very well read. Especially with how they layered the damage perfectly. I didn't see any mechanical moves, but as doesn't engage on bot side.
Yeah, the engage coming through bot side, and well, nothing will really come of it, as in the top lane last possession just about won't lock down Netflix and Chill, as gank coming through in the mid lane, biggest ever snowball being charged up. Can they find the knock up? Yes, they will. And okay, no, maybe he didn't actually find his mark. Never mind. As here we go in the bot lane again. Dredgeline finds his mark. Oh, there's a Phantom Undertow, the CC, and now turning it over onto Chrissa potentially, but you just, as the Tristana, you never really want to rocket jump into something like a Nautilus Draven.
Yeah, and this just reminds you how good used to be with his passive, and now it's just he actually takes damage a bit. It's so good to see that the champions know.
Oh, Mephilada! Netflix and Chill finding the kill on their Kale. The solo kill coming in big.
I guess Mephilada just didn't respect the kill damage coming in there, because that was pretty damn basic.
Yeah,
just
and the
clean.
Flag and Drag coming in, but now the CZ onto Rotten Espar. He's got nowhere to go, and Dominus will take the kill.
Ooh. Oh, and we just see the holes coming in here and protective guardians. They be caught out in both solo lane. Now this time there was junglers at it, but this could quickly turn into something massive as Drake spawns in 20 seconds.
Oh, flash away from the Cassiopeia, maybe looking to turn around onto Twister, who's already used the Shuriken flip. Biggest ever snowball, maybe from Paulinus to try to get him away, flash away, and he will be able to just about survive. But this is what I was talking about before we even got into picks and bans, back at the very start of the pre-show. I don't want to know, you know, who should win effectively. I don't want to know what the jungler should be doing. I want to know what mistakes these teams can be making, because we're going to be seeing a lot of them in such an important game where tensions and stakes are so high.
Yeah, and ever since Dragon Eyes was removed from the game, we just haven't had the same amount of vision. And therefore people keep making mistakes, they overextend, they do something that they probably shouldn't because they just don't know. As the first outbreak of the game goes over for Protective Guardians.
Protecting Guardians will take that Cloud Drake, and well, that's going to be very useful for the likes of the Nautilus and the J4 early on anyway, with being able to spam those ults a little bit better.
As we do see the first level 6s being hit now for Mephalata, and Netflix, Chill and the mid laners should be both just at the ready to do so, as well as Twister goes in. Ooh. How's that? Perfect execution up. Oh,
The
again.
perfect execution is up, and the biggest ever snowball will find his mark. Here comes the damage. Can they find their CC? No, Twister just going to be able to stay out of it. But perfect execution in the ignite ticks down. Twister finds the kill in the 1v2 and now looks to turn it onto Polynomus, as Rotten S4 has turned up. There is a blast cone available. Twister though, can he land the Shuriken flip? No, he will not. And Paulinus will be able to get out as the Dreadfly misses his mark, but the ignite comes through. Phantom Undertow. They find the CC onto Krissa, but there comes the CC onto Logan, but he will be able to make his way out.
Yeah, and we just see extremely close fights across the map, but also just a perfect display from Twister there. Nice outplay, and we really do have to respect Akali, even while getting nerfed twice this patch. Yeah, 2 different separate nerfs. It's still like an insanely good champion if you just know what you're doing on it. So you have to mad respect it whenever it's picked, and Twister is just looking so clean on it.
It's in the top lane. Here comes the biggest ever snowball, and it is looking a big. Divine Judgment comes through, but the last rights are here. Netflix and Chill locked down, and Polynomus will pick up the kill.
Yeah, level 5 Jarvan can't really get there in time, and he still can't go in when he actually is there. So yeah, ain't much for him to do up there. He just has to recall and then figure out what else he's gonna do in the map, as he's already 1 level behind.
The TP is available for Netflix and Chill, as that's the Tristana really low. Oh, the flash forward on the tower as Element finds the kill, but CC down. Element will get taken down as Logan makes it a 1-for-1 and now looks to turn it over onto Krissa. He has the depth from below. It is available. He just needs to land this one bone skewer. Rotten S5 making his way up. The bone skewer lands as a Phantom on the toe comes through. Surely this is a kill. Good flash from Krissa, and Logan will be forced to back out.
Yeah, and just a very nice setup in the bot lane, but then Laugan just completely turns it around with 1 nice Phantom on the toe, and it's just so well to see the execution of support right now, as they're apparently so strong they can 1v1 mid laners.
Yeah. And speaking of mid laners, the Twister making his way up, but will decide against it. And you know, going back to these supports, we talked about how much roam potential they have, and we talked about, you know, 3-man ganks mid and then the 4-man ganks potentially returning bot side. And I am interested to see, you know, when Krissa and Logan do pick up these Moby boots, just how much presence they will have in this mid lane.
Yeah, as the only support that I right now can say shouldn't go mobile boots is Braum. And we definitely not seeing a Braum this game right now.
No Braum this game. We might be seeing Braum later on in the series as Flag and Drag comes through. They find the knock-up, and there comes the Cataclysm as well. But who is trapped in with who? Rotten Espar gets caught out, and Trace to Race will pick up the kill. And now they can look towards Twister as a depth charge comes in. It finds a knock-up, and out comes the Whirling Death. But they jump towards the Akali. They almost find their kill, but
Clutch.
Twister will just about survive. Phantom Undertow. Twister gets taken down. This is a 1-for-1 between him and Logan. 3 kills for 1 overall in the favor of the Protecting Guardians.
Yeah, that seemed to be such a bad start with Javan being way too early to the party, but then Twister comes in, completely execute Daminus, and then after that his bot lane comes just to make big plays, and then we just see Twister perfectly executing his Akali play, not only with the ult but just kiting alone, and it was such a clean experience to watch. And that just proves Twister carry this game.
Yeah, and that, that was so big, because if Twister, when he was in that Twilight Shroud, if he had just stepped up even momentarily, got caught by Trace to Race, that would have gone so differently. But in the top lane, they find the CC, but the Divine Judgment will buy some time, flash out of the Dark Procession, and Polynermus will get taken down. Netflix and Chill finds his 2nd kill of the game.
Yeah, it's gotta feel good for these junglers not having any impact in the game, because they're not strong enough on the EXP ladder. And then we just see these top laners who are like 2 levels ahead, just completely smashing them when they come, giving them that sweet 1v2 outplay.
Yeah, and the junglers are really far behind right now. We talked about the importance of jungling, and maybe neither of these two have got it sussed out just yet. The Dark Possession just shy of its mark as another Drake getting taken. Dredgeline finds its mark, and Logan will use a Phantom Undertow to get out to safety. But is he out just yet? Because here comes the depth charge. Flag and Drag to close the gap somewhat, and a Dredgeline just to cut the Pike off from any exit. But here comes the Nunu, because there's a snowball finds mark. Can they turn this around? Phantom Undertow, they find the CC. Absolute Zero will not take the kill. The Pike will fall, death from below. Not enough to pick up the kill, but it is a double for Trace to Race.
Yeah, and this is just such a clunky fight, but the Drake has already gone over, so even in this worst case scenario, they do still have something to get, as Polynomous will just clean up the last member of that fight.
Yeah, 3 kills for 1 coming in, and well, Protecting Guardians, so they were the ones who had caught out the bot lane, but a great turn up from Polynomous to turn it all around.
Yeah, and now we do see that it's gonna be the Mountain Soul this game. And, oh, that's a big fight. Pike is already here though. Can he turn it around? Doesn't seem so.
The Twister with the perfect execution just was not quite enough to find the kill. The Ignite was not up just yet. It's in the top lane once again. We're just seeing Mephalada trading with Netflix and Chill right now, who the kill nearing that level 11.
Yeah, and just so far this game has just been very back and forth with a lot of skirmishing, and we have already seen what soul spawning it is the mountain, as we do see it gank up top side.
Dark Procession once again coming through. Divine Judgment buys some time, but under turret, Polynomous gets taken low, but it will be a kill regardless. It's the Dredgeline fighters mark, Flag and Drag in, but the Phantom Undertow to safety. It doesn't matter. Krista finds a kill, and it will be 2-4-0 coming through in the bottom lane, and actually 4 kills across the map as Twister finds a solo kill onto Daminus in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, just a 4-for-1 across the map, that seems pretty good, alright, but just completely massively outplayed in mid lane, and just a completely perfect setup in the bot lane. Meanwhile, in top lane, we just saw a deja vu of Polynomous tanking the turret and dying. That's just the feel we're getting from that. As while Mephalata now sits here with a pretty substantial, even going lane, but he has all the turret play gold as well. Everything else on the map has just gone to absolute crap as we look at Tristana's farm.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god, Twister. You are disgusting, but you do get shut down here, and that's going to be big for Tristana, as she's so far behind in CS.
Actually, it might have been a good idea for Twister actually to just walk into the Nunu and give the kill to the Nunu, so that Tristana doesn't get the goal. But That being said, so much damage coming out from Twister, as we are going to be seeing AUEC looking towards the Rift Tower, but as we mentioned before, it doesn't quite make up for the 2 Drakes that are already on the side of the protecting Guardians, as the Bone Squid narrowly missing its mark onto Netflix and Chill. And you know, we've been seeing a disparity in this game already, with Polynomis focusing a lot towards the top side of the map, whereas Rotten Esfar focusing towards the bottom side. And you know, it's bottom side priority is just so much more important than top side priority right now.
Yeah, it definitely is, as we do see like a huge discrepancy also in gold with 2.5k and the first tower already being gone. Sorry, excuse me, 3k. But yeah, this game is just blowing out of proportion right now, and they need a big comeback here, especially for Dominus, because he has to be the main AP threat on his team.
Indeed. And I'm actually surprised that we're already seeing the last whisper coming through from Element very early, over looking towards something like that Infinity Edge.
I do definitely think it's a bit early, but at the same time I'm also like, alright, mountain dragons are gonna be spawning now. We are gonna need it at some point.
I mean, unless they are the ones who pick up the mountain drakes, as
I mean, that would
Phantom
be
Undertow.
nice. They have already picked up 2, but Nuna's Consume is just such an important tool.
Rocket jump forward, they look for Netflix and Chill, but the Divine Judgment will keep him alive. Bone Skewer in Trace. Trace picks up 1, and now he looks towards the Nautilus. Rocket jump out to safety, but he's just got to keep on poking, keep on finding damage as Polynomus picks up the kill.
Yeah, that was just absolutely massive takeoffs there. Now they can summon the Herald mid lane and they can finally break up some of this game as Draven.
Ooh. Wow, the Whirling Death almost catching out Trace to raise. Polynomus might have to sacrifice. His life flashes over the wall and will be able to get out. No casualties from AUEC just yet.
Yeah, but they did still get the tower, and they're probably gonna get another one in the top lane here, as Mephalata is just a Vulcan up top. As we do see Netflix and Chill just poking out, clearing some waves. So it's gonna take a bit longer for him to take that tower, as that's a Drake right there.
Protecting Guardians will pick up the mountain, but this mountain is only going to be really useful on Krista, and I guess on to Rotten Esfar as well if he does go for the tank Jarvan, but otherwise it's got no real significance for the other 3.
Yeah, the main thing we also have to remember when it comes to mountain is that while it's in itself a very tank oriented thing, it also means that it's really anti-assassin, because if the enemy has an assassin, that's why Mountains is so insane, because assassins basically lose every time they spend 4 mountain.
Oh, Rotten Esfar getting caught out as the explosive charge coming through in the top lane. Dark Procession, Mephalata, Netflix and Chill. Mephalata picks up the kill, and Twister getting caught out, but he finds one on his own. Will get caught out by Polynomus as Phantom Undertow, not enough. Element finds the kill. Twister still alive. Dominus gets taken down, and that's going to be the triple kill for the Draven.
And we are just seeing why Element has prioritized this Draven so much, as Mephalata, on the other hand, just gets a solo kill up in the top lane. We're just seeing some completely shift in tempo here, as Element and Twister are just completely wrecking on the side of AUEC, not being able to do anything against them when they're on such big comfort champions.
But things going really well for the side of Protecting Guardians. They had one kind of blip in the game where they ended up giving 2 to 3 kills over to Trace to Race, but aside from that, it's been great. And the Twister 8 and 2 right now, so much damage. He has a Rabadon's Death Cap as well, and we're only 18 minutes into the game.
And that's a level 11 Kale. She's finally at the point where she gets that absolute massive amount of wave clear, and now she's finally at her strongest point, and we are gonna see her just get that second item after this, and then she should be a decent carry for it. Just to compare with the Twister and Element, who are already absolutely insanely strong.
However, we can't discount Mephalata on that split push champion. He is a 2-in-1 and doing arguably the best on his team alongside Trace to Race, and he does now have that Trifles where he'll start doing significant damage and being a real threat in that top lane.
Yeah, and this tower's just gonna fall.
Yeah. The tower is indeed down. We've
And
got
they aren't
our
stopping
second.
either.
Nope. You gotta keep going. They take a look towards the bot lane. That's AUEC. They will land the biggest ever snowball as Twitter, looking very aggressive, is now a 1v3. Trying to sidestep everything. Flag and drag Cataclysm comes through. And now Polynomus is chased down. And the perfect execution comes through. Twister once more. The rocket jump in. And that's the Bone Skewer finding its mark as Tracer Race picks up their shutdown. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Protecting Guardians will find another turret, as in the top lane. AUEC find a turret. So much damage as a Whirling Death comes through. As a depth charge in, an Element will find another kill.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. Even though that there was a pickoff on Twister, there's still so much happening, and Mephilato just can't deal with the solo split push when 3 of the enemy team is just pushing down this mid lane, taking in him.
Biggest ever snowball getting charged up. Damnus has to be careful. Look at the axes of flying. The explosive charge will find a 1. Tracer Racer forced to rocket jump out, and now they turn it on to Rotten Espar. Double kill for Tracer Race, but crucially the inhibitor is down. However, the Baron is up, and with 2 members of Protecting Guardians down, this could be a big opportunity for AUEC to turn their luck around as Mephilato looks to chase down Krista. However, Krista does have that dredge line to take him to safety, but the slow comes in, and now biggest ever snowball will surely find its mark. Krista with nowhere to go, and Mephilato picks up the kill.
Yeah, and just chase down. Oh. Baron has been started.
Baron has indeed been started, and I don't know if there is a way for Protecting Guardians to contest this. Twister will try his best. Baron down to 1,000. Can they find it? No, they cannot. Now Twister getting caught out. The absolute zero comes in, but the Divine Judgment buying time. This is the fight. Tracy Race on a rampage. He finds Twister as the Bone Skewer finds his mark. Rotten Espar getting taken down very low. That's the kill. Death from below will not be able to find anything. Element and Netflix and Chill versus the world. Tracer Race finds one, and he will find another. That's the quadra kill. But look at the minions pushing through in the mid lane. The pentakill is on the line, but the base is much more important to defend right now.
Yeah, especially with that Baron buff, it shouldn't even be a problem. And here's the big thing. I didn't even trade for the Mountain Drake, I can still get that. So that's another 5 minutes where you deny the Elder Spawn, as well as the soul for the enemy team.
But if that fight came out at a 3-for-3, or if Protecting Guardians came up with 1 more kill than AUEC, you know, that would have practically have been a game. And if Netflix and Chill during that fight, maybe instead of going in, he could have backed off, TP'd in, and you know, picked up 2 Nexus turrets. So the TP's getting channeled in the river, but I think it's a little bit too late for the side of Protecting Guardians, as AUEC have already picked up their first Drake of the game.
Yeah, and we are seeing the gold slowly even out, but the objectives is what matters here, and can they get any with the Baron buff?
Yeah, and you know, it's going to come down to, once again, this 1-4 split push for AUEC, surely. We've already seen Mephilato do so much, and that's without a Baron. Now, with a Baron, I want to just see him, you know, keep on pushing in that side lane, try to crack open the base, but for now, Devilian Protecting Guardians seem to still have the momentum, looking to push through in these mid and bottom waves. Rocket jump away, flash as well, but that is a really good ultimate, but it doesn't matter because Tracer Race gets way too aggressive, and it's going to be 1 kill for nothing. Protecting Guardians are finding the kill onto Tracer Race, and with the base having been cracked open, this is very, very risky now for the side of AUEC, and they're going to have to be very careful.
Yeah, especially now, 4v5, they're getting this red buff, they're starting to push up the top lane now, I would guess. Just getting those turrets gone so they can finally open up the map, because that is a big discrepancy there. Already in heaven mid lane, so they just need to be sure that they can push bottom top at the same time. And then they should finally have the opening to get back into the driver's seat of this game.
Another outer turret is down. DVN are not going to do anything silly. They're just going to play it sensibly and keep on pushing. However, we talked about this kind of timer, if you like, as a bonus spear finds its mark. They might look for the damage onto Chris, who's very low, but the Divine Judgment comes in absolute zero. That's the Piker down, and the Nautilus will survive. Another kill for the Protecting Guardians.
Absolute just mad lad Chris. He knows his teammates backs him up, and there was nothing more scary for a bike than just ulting in, landing it, and still not getting the kill with no escapes left. Oh, that's gotta feel so bad.
And the Baron buff will be ending about now. However, Mephilat is split pushing in the mid lane as Polynomus. He burns the stopwatch. Element gets taken down. And now they look for Netflix and chill. Rocket jump forward. That's the double kill coming in. And just as I said, is looking good for Protecting Guardians. AUEC turn it back around.
Yeah, Netflix and Chill and Element not expecting they need a tank there to do something, especially if they don't have Russ and Nespa, who can just put down that flag so they can get that extra attack speed.
With the Baron coming up in 2 minutes time, as well as the next Drake, it's going to be some high priority. And actually, you know, I would say if it's AUEC, they shouldn't go for the Baron, because I think Protecting Guardians would happily trade that Baron to be able to pick up that Mountain Soul for themselves.
Yeah, however, I also do want to mention, when that soul is collected, Elder Drake finally spawned. And Elder Dragon right now is the game-winning objective. It's almost impossible to do anything against an Elder Dragon team, unless they absolutely just throw it away.
Yeah. I've only ever seen, you know, in all of the games I've played of preseason,
it's
which...
hard to see yet.
Yeah, I've seen 2 Elder Drakes. Actually, I've seen a couple of more Elder Drake, but I've only seen 2 fights where a team had the Elder Drake buff. And let's just say that they did not last very long. It was more one team running away, pleading, "Please don't kill me, senpai." And, well,
And then
the
they
other
spit
team were
on
like,
them.
yeah, quite literally. Yeah, they spit on them, and then they just blow up.
Yeah. Oh god. Mephalata might be caught out.
Mephalata might indeed, but he's a bit of a tanky, but actually, never mind. He's getting
That's
really burnt down. He does have the Triforce. Can he potentially turn around, sidesteps the Flag and Drag? He's still running, but out comes the Whirling Death. Element picks up the kill, and with Baron up in 20 seconds, this is scary.
Yeah, and with 2 armor break abilities, both on Kale Q and on Jarvan Q, it just means there's so much damage coming out from their streaming, because all the armor's already breaking off by the time he hits them.
And that's without the likes of a Black Cleaver even being picked
Look
up.
at
Phantom
that,
Undertow,
using
though.
all the mouth. Making big boy plays.
Yeah, as here we go with the final mountain of the game, probably coming up as Tracer Race. He's going to get caught out by the Akali. Good buster shot, but it doesn't matter. The Ignite ticks through anyway. And maybe if he hadn't used the buster shot, Daminus could have picked up the kill. Oh, no, Pike tries to find the steal, but the axes come through. He doesn't find the steal, and he will get taken out. 2 members down for AUEC and a Mountain Soul as well. Protecting Guardians, they will look for the Baron, or they could even look to pick up the inhibitor first. Either way, things not looking good for AUEC.
Yeah, but with 2 people down, Baron should pretty much also just be a guarantee, as Twister can pretty much just zone whoever's coming to this fight.
He's going to try to zone Baron down to 1000 HP, and it will indeed be secured. Second Baron of the game going over to the side of Protecting Guardians. Oh no, Tamina's taking so much damage. Element with the heal to close the gap, and that is the killing spree for the Draven.
Blood Rush, as we all remember, that's the W of Draven, just running them down. Getting that rush of excitement.
And, you know, when you mentioned before that Draven would be a priority pick in this series, I did not realize you meant this kind of Draven.
Yeah, 1500 crits on red buff, just nothing.
absolutely disgusting is, yep, we're starting to see Ross and Esvar picking up some more of those tanky items with the Dead Man's Plate and the Warmugs, just to get a bit more effectiveness from those 3 Mountain Drakes that Protecting Guardians have available to them.
Yeah, and the big problem here for the side of AUEC is not only the big discrepancy in where the damage lies, it's also just they don't have the crowd control to take down 3 carries at the same time. So one of them will just get to do their job, and whoever that is can easily deal with the main damage threats on the side of AUEC.
Precisely, as the blue buff will get picked up by Daminus. However, again, I want to look at the silver lining for AUEC, because this game is not done yet. Not until that Elder buff is secured. Then I think whoever's got the Elder buff wins the game, unless, it's an Elder buff, but only on maybe one member.
But
You
Malphite
mentioned...
passive. Gotta remember that mountain buff is already on them. But Khan and
True,
Malphite
okay.
looking on you like you're crazy.
Right, so
Even
my
over-
question to you, Nick, is, as we see a little bit of aggression coming through, but unwise aggression. So my question to you is, at the end of Picks and Bans, you mentioned that there was a clear kind of time limit for Protecting Guardians. With the Mountain Soul having now been picked up, has that changed things significantly?
I think the biggest change is that Daminus is so far behind that it no longer matters with any kind of time. Because there's so
Right,
much.
but
that
here we
has
go,
to
the
happen.
final fight. Depth Touch finds his mark. The Draven finds the kill. Absolute zero in, but it does nothing. Aramuna finds the double, and now it is a 5v3 at the base. The inhibitor will get picked up. The mid lane inhib is open, but Protecting Guardians don't care. Here we go, the final fight. Logan will get taken down. Element just running, having fun, throwing out the axes. He picks up another. The Fountain can't even kill him. He is that big. The final Nexus turret will fall. AUEC will not even get a consolation kill as Devilian Protecting Guardians take game 1.
Yeah, and just Mapalazzo doing the nastiest levels of split push there, and absolutely his team gets punished at that exact time. It's just so crucial to see how a team can play together, and Mapalazzo, while doing his best, he just can't do it from the split push position because top lane is in a roll.
On that note, though, a fantastic game 1, at least if you're the side of Devilian Protecting Guardians. Before we do head to a short break, Nicholas, what would you like to see AUEC do differently for game 2?
Tank top. I do like the Mapalazzo doing his split push, but not only would I like to see either the Draven picked up from their side or just a genuine ban, I would like them also to just reconsider what is our main strength, because weird picks top lane ain't gonna cut it unless you got something insane that we have not seen yet. Like Rengar top, please pick it, somebody.
It got banned last game. It got banned, Nicholas.
Yeah, I know. They might not though. But no, I just genuinely want to see a top laner having an impact on a different lane, because the island top lane is a tank meta style that utilizes TP to affect the rest of the map, and they did in this game. I want to see that be the biggest change for AUEC going into next game.
Bit more map rotation for AUEC potentially then for game 2. On that note, we're going to be heading into a short break, but we will be right back with game 2, so stay tuned.
champions.
Nicholas, for game 2, I want to be slightly philosophical. If anyone in the chat gets this reference, give me a thumbs up. I would be much appreciated. Because Dazai once said, it's great to split push, but Nicholas, I'm feeling like now may not be the meta of split pushing after game 1.
What? What are you talking about? Split push is insanely strong. As a boomer, I can say that there are certain split pushes that are allowed, but usually it's because they're also great in team fights, or because they simply have that many ways of rotating that it doesn't matter that they're split pushes, that's just an added bonus. And then there are a few champions that are allowed to split push, like Tryndamere, because Tryndamere is always just gonna be like annoying. But generally speaking, if you don't have a way of just affecting a fight, then you probably shouldn't go with a split pusher. There's a few ones I do like is Fiora and Darius because of their true damage, and also just because Darius had a great team fighting, not OP, but with his way of dealing with mountain dragons and tanks, it's just good enough. And Fiora for the just 1v1 potential being probably the best in the game on the current patch.
Yeah, and that's a key thing that you mentioned, because it's having a split pusher that works well in the team fight. And I want to see something maybe more along the lines of the Cho'Gath or the Scion even, maybe even that Ornn coming
the tank
through.
boys.
Yeah, because here's the thing, you know, if we wind the clock back to 2 months ago and we think about split pushers, you know, okay, sure, the split pusher doesn't need to TP in for a fight in bot lane, because who cares if they get some, you know, crappy old Cloud Drake. But now that's not only is that going to be a Cloud Drake, which is one of the best drakes of the game, but it's also one closer to that big number 4 and that Soul Drake.
Yeah, and while the 2 first are random, every Drake after that isn't. So therefore, if you just give up the 2 first, that's actually alright. But then you have to control it from there on out, which means you have to get an insane lead somewhere else, most likely in mid lane or top lane. And then you have to rotate your top laner down and be able to 3v4 or have your support go down with no ADC. So we are gonna have some amazing ways to do something. And we have talked about just very weird stuff, especially for the jungle. What I like to see especially is like the Syndra and Brand. That have been the 2 weirdest junglers I've seen currently. And we can just see some amazingly funny stuff coming out from the League community currently. And while we do say, Diana rework, I feel like they just came out, they're banned for the next few weeks until we like actually covered them and seen if they're game breaking. Like, we already know they are. Like, that was no... we've seen the affiliates montages where the first time you get a pentakill and that's just a staple. Like, it's easier than Master Yi, somehow.
See, you know, that really hits me because I can't play Yi for some reason. Yi's like one of the few champions that I know how he works and I know what I'm supposed to do, but I just in on him.
Yeah,
and then there's some other champion
you probably
set
pick
or
it into
something.
too much crowd control.
And then there's some other weird champion set, right?
We can talk about him at a later time because I have my own very different opinions on him. But
I don't know. I've just seen some weird stuff like he picks people up and then he like throws them into people.
He power
and
slams them. And I definitely do mean power slam because that is an actual wrestling move.
And he does like percentage HP based damage. So if you ult a Cho'Gath in, then it like pentakills instantly or something stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically like a Vi, but meant for top lane. And while they did take some lessons in Tahm Kench and Pyke, you know, with their insane amount of, I take damage and I gain insane health because of that. Oh, and Rengar, of course, because of his W. But then they just said we don't fucking care. Like, his W is insane. It allows him to take half of all just to make a big giant shield. And that can end up in the thousands. So he's basically just as tanky as 5 Sterex gauges.
Wow. Well, we are in picks and bans. Oh wait, no, we're not. See, this is why, Nicholas, we knew we didn't have to talk about picks and bans because something was going to happen, and then, you know, I just had to ruin the massive big brain plays. But, I do
But
want to go back to the ADC role because, you know, we talked about the presence of Draven in the draft, but I don't think that Tristana worked out too badly. She ended up something like 16 and 5, and that was despite Trace to Race getting caught out a couple of times. So I don't think it's a terrible thing if they do let this Draven slip through the draft phase if either team do want to pick it up.
Yeah, definitely so, but I do want to see Damnus step it up quite a lot because he was the one being on the shoulders end of the stick last game, and I mean on both teams, yeah. So he has to be the one who steps up, especially with his high elo carry capacity. Yes, we only look at elo, that's all that matters. Fight me. But we need to clearly see him being able to be the carry for his team because Trace to Race can't just do it solo, and we know Mephalasi likes his split pushes.
I'm interested to see what will be drafted for Mephalata in this game. We saw the Kale coming out in the previous game and actually picking up the solo kill on Mephalata early on. If that didn't happen, maybe the game could have gone differently. And then, of course, the focus towards the jungle. We've already seen the Olaf being banned, but that doesn't mean that the likes of that Rek'Sai, the Echo, can't get picked up either.
Yeah, like Olaf is definitely just the premier jungler right now. It's not even a contest, he's just the number one. It's something that commonly known to everyone. It's just a fact.
Except for our producer, because, you know, he doesn't respect, you know, Vikings or something.
Yeah, and then after that we just have all of these other things that works in special situation. We have the Echo, he's great in just every single aspect and gives AP. We have Nocturne apparently. That was the mispick apparent instead of the Tom Ken. He's just a pretty good jungler overall, and he's been carrying in top and mid lane as well. I would say he's a bit more mid lane right now than jungle, but I do know the Polynomist plays this a lot. He likes to play these press R champions, and I really want to see him being the one on this Nocturne, just getting out a perfect kill and then into the dragon immediately.
Yeah. As a Nocturne actually going to get picked up, so knowing Mephalata, he can play the likes of the Shen. I would like to see that Shockton coming through as, oh no, you didn't do that. Right, can we, Reed, can we put on like some funeral march music please, because the Sejuani has got locked in. I do like the Morgana pick though.
It isn't that bad, Milky. It's still fine for competitive, and if you have somehow a fighter in the top lane, I don't understand why you would do that, but fine, then it will still be fine. And it could also just indicate they want to be a very high protect element combo this time, as Lucian Braum is being locked in, Milky. We see the changes coming in the preseason, and it's finally back. Oh, how I love this. And it's the best Drake priority lane, let's be honest.
True, and I was kind of hoping for that Shockton to come in, but now that it hasn't been picked up, it does mean that Shen can get banned into the second phase, and we see the focus on the Mordekaiser first, which means that this Caitlyn Morgana lane is not coming through, which I don't know. I feel like Protecting Guardians are making some questionable draft decisions here.
Yeah, I do, however, also want to say that while we've been talking about a lot of top laners, we haven't been talking about Mordekaiser for one simple reason. He hasn't been changed in so long, and we've all said he needs a fucking nerf. I'm sorry for my language, but...
Language? Come on, Nicholas.
Yeah,
that's two times already.
Yeah. I like my F-bombs, but Mordekaiser, ever since his release, has been the same consistently really strong, a bit too strong indeed, champion that just in every matchup he just does good. Like, even his bad matchups, like the ranged ones, he just pulls them in. He gets a jungle gank, then alright, it's over. If you gank him, you actually help him, because he's level 6 at that point, and he's taking you into his death realm, and just said, nope, that's my free kill. So there's just not much to do against him, and it's just gonna feel really weird, as we should see with the Draven picked up here. It should also be the Caitlyn, because of Morgana, as you mentioned. But I like the Mordekaiser pick. I just don't really think I know where their team is going, because they need massive AD threat. So it's probably gonna be Yasuo and a big heavy AD, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, and that Caitlyn...
Oh, that's a Twitch. We knew Element could play that.
Wait, okay, so I kind of get this. They don't want to go the Twitch Lulu, and picking Lulu straight away would have kind of given it away. But
Yep.
I don't
still
know.
don't
I'm
think that
still
Twitch
doubtful.
is that strong.
That's a better pick. That's what I want to see. Heimerdinger. You
Yeah,
know what,
but
Nicholas? I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, but see, Twister plays Heimerdinger. I know that, but I do still think that Twitch with Conqueror is not all that strong. I think it's good, I just don't think it's strong enough. And while it's definitely his biggest and best keystone for jungle, I don't know how well it's going to perform in ADC when you play against Lucian Braum, one of the best lanes to kill you. Okay, Rumble, I like my Rumble, and it also gives them that AP power they need.
Nicholas, you're missing the big thing.
What?
Is Nocturne mid?
Yeah, of course it is.
You didn't say that before.
I said it's most likely Nocturne map. We knew it Polynomics like to play it. Because Nocturne has been playing in both solo lanes and jungle because of the new added item. Do you remember? It's Sanguine Blade, as we see the most like to use the Sanguine Blade champion, Zed, coming into the mid lane. Oh, that's gonna be spicy.
Okay, I said I was done and I was gonna walk out, but you know what? I'm back, guys. We've got a Zed, we've got a Nocturne in the solo lane.
But is it a set or is it a set?
I want to know if it's Nocturne top or Nocturne mid, because sometimes maybe you could see a Rumble mid, but I doubt it.
It's
Nocturne into Zed should be fun.
Right? It's not. No.
It's not. They're just trolling you. See, Nick. Here's the thing. I don't know which rule of casting this is. Let's call it rule 1 for the sake of it. You don't talk about the hovers, right? And that includes where they currently have them, unless it's possible, right? Because otherwise,
it's possible. So is known for his job and sub, and Rumble Jungle is still a thing to this day. It's just that it's not very good. I do, however, like to see a lot of adaptation in this game. Like, these teams have just completely taken the last game and said, yeah, that's done and over with. New game. Like, nobody's playing the same champion as before, and everybody has a new game plan. I do, however, struggle to see how Protective Guardians are going to make this work, because they've got Twitch for late game, Sejuani for Peel and Morg for the shield, and they've got decent pick, but how are they going to take down towers? How are they going to secure objectives? Like, Mordekaiser ulting Jarvan is fine, but it's not consistent. They need a clear game plan here, and I don't see it right now. So I do still think AUEC, despite losing last game, I think that comp is a bit easier to execute, and with Nocturne roaming down bot lane, you better know they get those Drakes early. If they don't, that's how they lose the game. That's the only way I can see them losing the game, is if they fail execute that bot lane.
But the thing that I'm really liking from the side of AUEC is we talked about the rotation potential. Now you've got a Rumble that can TP in with something massive like an Equalizer. You've got the Nocturne. You've got the Nocturne with the Paranoia. You've got Lucian Braum that is going to be so strong early on into Twitch. This is going to be AUEC with complete dragon control.
Yeah, and you have to remember, Morgana's Black Shield is actually a pretty high cooldown. Braum is going to be able to Q, get the Black Shield out, then get another Q.
or even just the concussive blows coming through, and you know, Braum can work as that counter to Morgana.
Yeah, just flash auto attack, let's go.
You can only protect so much.
Yeah, Morgana is still pretty good into Braum, can just Q the Braum away, making sure that he stands still, but with the big changes coming in this patch, it just means that Braum is that much more self-reliant, and he doesn't actually have to just be completely useless without anyone there.
I'm just trying to think what else to mention. I want to kind of go back to the jungle, but I think that's pretty cut and dry. Polynomics is going to be having a much bigger impact than Rotten as far, at least a pre-level 6.
It's interesting top and mid lane matchups. Like, Rumble Mordekaiser isn't seen as often, because Rumble is just not picked very often in our split. It has been played a few times, but not a lot. And even the few times we have seen it, it has also been in different positions sometimes. So seeing it into Mordekaiser, probably one of the best, if not the best, solo queue top laner, because it has been so consistent over so many patches that people have figured it out. It's just great to see. And then we have Zed and Nocturne, 2 assassins, We didn't see a single assassin last game. Oh, wait, Akali. But
Kylie, come on, Nicholas.
yeah, but I don't classify
Pike?
her as an assassin. I classify her as an abomination.
Okay, what's Pike then?
Oh, Pike, he's the gold generator.
Okay, he's not an assassin. No.
No, he's a lot of winner.
Definitely not. Okay, right. So what we've determined from this, ladies and gentlemen, is Nick does not know what assassins are, unfortunately.
Oh, I
But,
don't see
yeah.
any Leonas being picked up, despite it being the most OP champion.
You know, I actually wanted to bring this up because I think, you know, alongside Nautilus, actually maybe above Nautilus, Leona is the strongest support. You know, not only because A, she's great, but B, she's got great gank setup in a meta right now, which is so gank heavy, especially in that bot lane for that Drake control.
I mean, Leona's definitely top 5, but I would not say any higher than that. Like, I would say the tier list currently goes Nautilus, everyone else. But Morgana, if she's in the game, then every kind of engagement hook is just so much worse. And with Senna not really knowing her position in the meta right now, you could still argue that she's a bit higher than Leona. But after that, I would agree that Leona and Blitzcrank definitely just insane champions and should definitely be played
Did
more.
you say Blitzcrank?
Yeah, Blitzcrank is just insane because of his
Is
anti-shield.
Blitzy back?
Blitzy has been back for a while.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, ever since he's been good ever since that shield thing, and I will stick to that. Last but patches where it's been worse, but because so many shields exist, especially with mountain tracking, sometimes skipping one, he's just an insanely good champion.
I do want to, as we
Top
do get into
coast.
game, I will in a second, Nicholas. Give me a chance. Before we get into things, just a quick shout out to our sponsors once again. Far Up, Hungry.dk, Kim's, Streamer Boss, and Trickass Esports. We are into a game, and we are seeing the 5-man stack coming through from, well, the Braum. What else would you expect from Braum? So strong with these level 1 invades, and they're going to try to sneak in, but I think they just about got spotted out.
Yeah, and we do also see Aftershock jobbing, guys. It's meta, I tell you.
Yes.
But no, it gives him a bit more tanky stats, but he's now entirely reliant on landing EQ. And if you didn't realize this is what people already know they have to watch out for in Jarvan, so... It could be a good keystone, it could be a dead keystone, we're gonna find out.
Yeah, let's see how it works. Sejuani's being quite aggressive as Gospel will land, but as will the Dark Binding. It's a 5v4. Mordekaiser's still top blast cone. Will take the Morgana out to safety. And AUEC say, get the hell away from your blue buff. This is ours.
Yeah, Mephilatza might even have to TP in because he's very late to lane.
Yeah, he's gonna back and make his way up. Let's see if he TPs, because usually if you do TP like right at the start, you'll have it back up when you do want to make your way back into laners. Well, the electric, you're already getting propped down. Twister playing very aggressively and really getting punished for it as well.
Yeah, and Nocturne is just underrated as a laner because he has so high base stats, so high scaling, and his passive and Q is some of the biggest AD abuses in the game. If you remember old Sion, before his rework, it's that level of AD he gets.
Yeah, and if he actually had the Ignite over the TP, you know, Twist would have to be very careful. Flag and Dragon, they find the knockup.
Aftershock.
Yep, Aftershock just buying him so much time as well as... Well, Jarvan not even going to make his way down to his bottom side jungle. He's just going to go straight in the top side and really look to counter gang Rotten as far as much as he can as... Or the Fear almost finds his mark. Twister, so difficult Zed in the early couple of levels, and Damnus really trying to abuse this here.
Meanwhile, Rotten, he's been stealing some buffs. He's from the other side as well, equaling out those blues. But I don't know, he seems pretty goddamn low on health points right now. As he does. Oh, that's a gang top lane. Mephilatza's only level 2.
Rotten coming in,
DVN.
but Polynomus making his way up, as is a Daminus. The CC will land. Mephilator trying to make his way out. Flag and Drag is a double knock-up, and now the Flame Spitter coming in to turn things around. Netflix and Chill is super low, but Polynomus gets taken down. Daminus turns up. This should be the double kill for the Nocturne. Mephilator will find one, as out comes the Flame Spitter. Oh no, Mephilator, what are you doing? And now Netflix and Chill might be turning this one around as well. Daminus doesn't have the damage. He's forced to flash away, and he will just about escape, but Mephilator completely ruins as the concussive blows comes through. Element with the ignite ticking down. One more tick might just about do it. No, not quite. Netflix and Chill, though, with the Death Gross, will be able to make his way out as the TP comes back in from Mephilator, but what could have been so big for AUEC, pardon me, what could have been so big, yes, for AUEC gets absolutely thrown away.
What can I say, man? Aftershock OP. No, as a jungle main, I can definitely say I have not seen Aftershock Jarvan for a reason before. It's just way too inconsistent. Even with the double knockup, you're not getting enough out of it, and that just proves that the Conqueror plus all the magical healing that Mordekaiser gets, that's gonna be so strong, and he can just take these extended fights to the max. He was so close to even getting a triple there, and now Netflix and Chill is just gonna have an absolute blast of a lane.
Yeah, and I still put a lot of that onto Mephilator, because Daminus had the kill, and then Mephilator just had to play really greedy. And I think there was a Triumph proc coming in for Netflix and Chill, and, well, then Daminus was forced to flash out.
Well, I can, however, not completely say who's at fault there. I wasn't in the game, so I can't blame everybody else. That's my usual strategy.
That's not like you, Nick.
What? Alright. But as we do see the Cloud Drake spawning, both jungles on bot side of the map. Sejuani onto the mid lane, Jarvan onto the bot lane. Let's see what's going to happen. Level 3 Morgana here. Has a black shield.
Black comes in, but the black shield will
no flash.
sit on Element, but the damage just comes out regardless, and now they look to turn it onto Krissa. Concussive blows about to stack. Flash for, oh, but he attacks the minion, and the concussive blows resets. That is sad, to say the least. One kill for nothing, and a flash burnt by Logan.
Both people auto-attacking the ward. Meanwhile, one of them flashing to auto-attack set ward.
Oh, meanwhile, Deathmark in the mid lane, and that is going to be an easy kill for Twister, as Daminus has no flash after that trade, let's say, in the top lane.
Is this man smurfing? Can we get a ruling here? Is this man smurfing? Because his mechanics are on point, and it's Daminus who's been seen as we thought was going to be the mega mind carry for his team, but even without his rise, we just don't really see him do that. Meanwhile, Twist is just playing these assassins, and he's just been so good at popping off on them.
I thought he's not playing assassins. He's playing abominations, right?
I mean, I think set classified slightly.
Okay, right.
Akali is just the abomination because of the most overloaded kit Riot has ever put into the game, in my opinion. At least half of it has been nerfed out of the game. Let's just remove it.
Fair.
Yeah, like that's been Riot's approach on their reworks. Let's rework a champion, overload it, and then patch all of it out.
No, Riot's approach is, let's rework a champion. Hey, we need to rework another champion. Do you think our players will realize if we just rework the champion back to what it was originally and make it look like it's a new rework once again?
Now that's to the really annoying champions like your LeBlanc or Rengars. Yeah. There was one other guy who got the exact same treatment, but like I think Kha'Zix was the other one.
Potentially. Yeah. A bit before my time though. That's it.
Oh yeah, and Cockmore as well. Like, oh, good. Thank you, Red, for just giving us like the absolute big limit guy. 5.0 attack speed, jungle Cockmore. Oh, that was the times. Look, you don't remember that, do you?
No, I'm a late
That was
season
before
5
Fleet
bloomer.
Footwork, when there was a champion that literally had Fleet Footwork permanently whenever he pressed W.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Sounds
he would gain
entertaining.
5.0 attack speed. That was
Was this back in the Enchanter meta?
back in the right before the Arden meta. Yes.
Okay. Right, so a little bit before I actually started taking League seriously, Flag and Drag, good
Oh
Death Mark
my.
Twister with the moves, but it doesn't matter. The Paranoia comes in. However, Living Shadow will buy some time for Twister, Flag and Drag, or the Demacian Standard finds his mark, and the kill will be donated over to Daminus.
Yeah, very well played. And as Red says, I misspoke. It's lethal tempo, not fleet footwork. I'm mistaking. I never say lethal tempos. I forget it exists. It's like it's only
Come on,
used in
Nicholas, you're
certain
in
chats.
tune.
Yeah, like even Nocturne doesn't use it anymore. Look, he's got Electrocute as the first Cloud Drake. Will come over for AUEC here. Jarvan really good at securing them. That's their job. Oh, Daminus though. Well,
Okay,
just...
the Relentless Pursuit is available as
Oh,
Daminus
Daminus.
does make his way down, and here we go. Dark Bunny does not find his mark in. Logan will be the sacrificial lamb, as Protecting Guardians will be happy with just the one kill.
Yeah, and this game is getting pretty damn close, but who is it close for? Because right now I want to say that there should have been a lot more bot lane priority for the side of AUEC, and they've gotten their first Drake, that's good, but they still only have like one Lucian, like not even like a smite yet onto the Jarvan. They don't have a single Dirk onto the Nocturne here. I think they're actually a bit behind of where they should be in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's turret plates right there.
That is going to be a few turret plates going over to the side of Protecting Guardians. Rift Herald is up. That can be picked up now, especially if we see either jungler looking towards the top side, and probably Rotten as well would look for that, as Mordekaiser is just pretty strong, and you never really want to gank into the Mordekaiser if you are Polynomous.
Yeah, and there's currently just absolute big void time because Netflix and Chill is just already picked up a Rylai's. No Protobell this game, but he doesn't really need it. He's just gonna be the big boy in the top lane. It's impossible to deal with him right now, and he will just slap everyone who tries to come near him.
2-0 on the Mordekaiser at the minute. Seeing a big CS lead in the mid lane, as in the bot lane, not quite the advantage that we were expecting so far, but as is always the case with Illusion, still has a lot of time to really start snowballing, as he is starting to hit, some of those minor power spikes, has picked up that Kirch's shard.
Yeah, meanwhile we have the Jarvan in the alcove. Alcove plays!
Oh yeah, alcoves are the things right now, especially when you have something like Hexflag. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, Hexflag support. Yeah, but if they don't use it properly, that's the Cataclysm. No flash on Switch.
The Black Shield can come through, but he's locked in the Cataclysm. He finds one kill. Out comes the Glacial Fissure. Element will get taken down, but it's a 1-for-1 as Twister so low, as is Daminus, who survives with just a sliver of HP. Now, the Paranoia is available. Go for it, Daminus. Come on.
I mean, if he gets picked off by it, he loses the game. So just letting his jungler and support do the dirty work for him. Oh, Mephalata dodging the Q up in the top lane, but still takes a very bad trade.
But now Twister will get out. See, if only Daminus had just burnt the Paranoia and gone in, he would have got the kill. It would have been lovely, and he would have been back into the game.
And this is why Melky is a support and not a carry player, because he doesn't realize how big you fall behind on that.
I mean, he has an ultimate. Twister doesn't. Twister doesn't have Ignite.
Yeah, but he still has to run straight through Shurk in hell.
Yeah. Can the Shuriken hit you while you're midair?
Yes, it's not an untargetable or like immune. You still can take damage.
Okay. What if you fly towards them with your spell shield up? Here we go, the spell shield comes through. They're looking for the Twitch, but the fear will be spell shielded away. And, well, Morgana's spell shield coming in pretty big in the last couple of fights.
Yeah, as we do see Sejuani down here on the bot side. TP coming in now. No glacial prison yet.
Yeah,
Now it
Glacier
comes
Cruiser
in
comes
for-
out now as the stopwatch comes through. J4 on his way as Logan trying to buy as much time as possible, but he's burning down. The poison ticks in. Element finds a kill, and now he turns his attention to a race, and he will find one. Netflix and Chill very low, as that will be a trade coming in, but overall it is 3 kills for 1.
Yeah, now with a 3k lead
2,
and a turret, there is so much that can happen now for the side of Protected Guardian. They are already 1 game in the lead, and they are expecting to just take even more lead in this game as they just pick up another turret plate in bot lane. And Twister trying to take that mid lane turret as the second Drake is an Infernal and it's about to spawn.
Yeah, that second Drake about to pop up. So far, wow, a lot of damage coming through from Twister,
Spell
who has
shields
already
don't exist.
who's already picked up that Yomu's Ghostblade. Is Damnus, he has to think about going in, but he says, no, I'm going to let my support go in first, who misses the Winter's Bite. But things going very well for Protecting Guardians at the minute, and they are looking in a very good spot to be taking the series and with it the Division 3 final.
Yeah, definitely. As the Drake is now being hovered, danced around, Red Ward's already on it. So Protected Guardians just taking it out as Element is on his way, getting ready for a fight. Let's see. There's some ults that's not up yet, but the big one here, the Equalizer.
We go Paranoia, and this time they go for the Morgana. They find the kill. As you mentioned, the Equalizer is out, but it's somewhat misplaced. They find the kill onto the Twitch. 2 kills for nothing as Tracer is running for his life. It's going to be a trade of a kill, but what can Twister do? The Deathmark in a good stopwatch, and there comes the Flame Spitter. Twister will get taken down, but Mephalada low. Polynom low as well. The Cataclysm in. The shield is not enough as it's an ace for 4. Rotten Esfar, the final man standing, and
And
Rotten
he
Esfar
secured
also,
the Drake!
he did pick up the Drake as well.
Yeah, truly the lone survivor, the jungle, absolutely broken position, clearly. Everybody should start playing it, as it's clearly broken, by the way. Secured a Drake and survived the fight. 2 OP, have to nerf. Just remove EXP from junglers altogether, this is insane. But just an amazing fight
okay.
there.
Sure, I heard something, but yeah. And
Yeah,
I
I'm just from an outside perspective, as I'm now a top laner, apparently.
okay.
Yeah.
But I do want to put a lot of this, again, that fight in the top lane that gave Netflix and Chill 2 kills when he probably shouldn't have got any, which, you know, has really helped them. And Polynomus just has not been in the bot lane until recently, I feel, as now he's in the mid lane onto Twister, but Twister is already so far ahead. Flag and Drag coming in, and out comes the damage. Twister gets taken down, and Polynomus picks up the kill as Mephalata. The poison is on, not
Equalizer's
quite
up.
Darius levels, though.
Yeah, as the Equalizer in the last fight was probably what really broke the Camel's back there. Only hit onto the Morgana, meaning that even though it's probably their strongest teamfight tool, it didn't actually do all that much, and that could have been a game-changing, as we see in mid lane. Just a lot of
Glacial
life,
Fissure.
missing skill shots. Oof.
And this is what we mentioned. Again, I'm going back to what I said in game 1. I feel like I'm a prophet
Cataclysm?
of some sort. Yeah, as the Soul Shackles come through, and now Cataclysm onto Rotten Esfar and Chrissa. Rotten Esfar will get taken down. 1 kill for nothing, but Element making his way over.
Yeah, and we just see so much skirmishing. Can we take a break already? Can we just chill down in our tank meta that we live in? No? Alright.
Nope. No way can we do that. We need to see that high-paced games focusing around these Drakes.
And since you mentioned that, I have the perfect thing for the next game then. Let's see the fighters jungle. Let's see them just go absolute ham with their Doran's blades. And yes, you heard me right. Junglers right now are building Doran's blades.
Twister?
But that's
What?
Twister, ow. Ow, that hurts.
That
First play-
hurt. The TP coming in, Twister though has pretty much nowhere to go. But look at the damage, 3 members being sent for Twister, as well the rest of Protecting Guardians are looking for the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Set doesn't do damage, by the way, useless champion, just give him a buff.
No. I mean, all champions are busted when they're fed, and that is a 2 item,
Yeah, 140
2.5
farm.
item
140 farm.
versus a 1 item Rumble with no armor at all.
You know,
So,
that seems like more of a Rumble problem more so than a Set problem. I don't think you should ever nerf that champion.
I think they need to nerf Twister, but they don't need to nerf Set.
Alright, yeah, he's our own little leader, playing them assassins as he's playing them well, as Herald in the top lane taking one down tower and actually hits the second one. That's actually pretty rare given like the last patch, but look how much damage it did. I'm so glad they buffed it.
That is great to see. Was that that is the first Rift Herald of this game, I'm pretty sure.
As at least the last one, as Baron spawns in 1 minute.
It is definitely the last one. Nice way to dodge the question, Nicholas, as the Storm Razor has been completed for Trace to Race, and well, this Lucian still does have time to get really relevant over the Twitch. It's currently sitting 5 kills to 3. Sanguine Blade has been completed for Daminus, but just so far behind Twister right now, both in terms of kills and
Well, with them
coming in,
Paranoia up,
Paranoia out.
Yeah.
Comes the death mark, and now Cataclysm is very aggressive. The culling will come through. They look for Netflix and a chill first as the death realm comes out as a question mark on the equalizer, please. Glacial Fisher coming through. Good flag and drag, but Polynomus might have just killed himself. Krista tries to get a final auto attack, but it will not be enough. Flash away from Rotten as far will take him out to safety, as overall it's 3 kills for nothing, and now AUEC, they turn towards the Ocean Drake.
And I mean, it works for them there, but now I have to question, why is there a Storm Razor onto the Lucian? Okay, but no joke, that is an Ocean
OP?
Drake. Like the motion. Nah, Storm Razor is OP on long range carries, not short range carries. We like our Caitlyn's, our
So
Jins.
what you're saying is Trace to Race, he needs to pick up that rapid fire cannon now so it becomes long range.
I guess. But no, I would have liked to see an Essence Reap and IE, or you know, the Borg that we talked about. That's the core item on Lucian. But
Yes.
you know, I
Like,
guess
what element
Storm Racer
has?
slows. Storm Racer does slow.
I'm trying to work out what's better, because I've always held Rune's Hurricane in very high regards for a Twitch, and that's just been completed. But Trace to Race does have the Storm Razor, he has the Infinity Edge as well as those Berserker's Greaves, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Shredding as Twitch is just his job, and just applying as much damage over time as possible.
What?
And if that's-
Paranoia comes through, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Fear comes in, not quite enough to kill Twister as the culling coming through in the top side jungle. They look for Netflix and chill as Cataclysm in, but everyone is just getting absolutely melted. Flash away from Logana's element, making his way over.
Almost off.
Yeah, the flash forward from Element. He doesn't quite have the damage. He flashes over the wall. He should be able to pick up Logan. One more auto attack. No, the poison.
Look at the
not
damage.
just enough.
The damage, boy. The damage. Draven 2-shots people. Twitch almost does 10% with 7 auto attacks. Yeah.
That's what happens when you have loads of attack speed and no damage, Nicholas.
What? No. But just generally speaking, there's some huge first champions like Zed, and then there's like the ones that barely poke like Twitch. It feels bad to see.
I think, to be fair, you have the super fed champions like Zed, who 2-shot people, and then you have the Twitch, who is only even, who can't, because he's a damage over time champion.
Yeah, but then if he does 7 auto attacks, should it not do damage? It's sad to see an ADC in this meta right now not dealing damage. It's kind of like, okay, game's over, go next.
To be
And
fair,
yet
there is a bit
somehow,
of armor on Logan, and he has that Knight's Vow as well.
yeah, and uh, per usual, there's a 5k goal discrepancy right now. So they are still like ahead as Twist, level 14 to level 11.
Oh, we'll be able to get out with the Living Shadow, but the culling comes through. Oh, Twister with the fancy footwork. I swear, every time people play into a Zed, they forget that Zed can do that. And Living Shadow out. Twister clean as you like.
I mean, that's what happens in NA Gold.
Yes. Or, wait, so are you saying NA Gold is the same as EU Plat right now?
No, I'm saying that you played on NA and there you were Gold.
Okay. However, 17 kills to 17 at the minute, but as you mentioned, a 5, now almost 6k goal lead for the Protecting Guardians. They picked up an, sorry, they didn't pick up an Ocean Drake there, but there is an Ocean Drake spawning in a minute, and they still have the Baron buff for another minute or so, I do believe.
Yes, as we are still during the Baron buff, we are seeing just the last bit of pushes in with it, right before it spawns. Now, I've not been keeping track on the Drake so far, but it should be 2 to 1 in the side of AUEC.
Yeah, so there was a Cloud Drake at the start, which was Protecting Guardians picking that up.
Yeah,
Then I
Spark
think it
got
was
an
a
Infernal.
Mountain.
No, that wasn't Infernal for Spark. He got an
Let's scroll through the chat, Nicholas.
Yes, and then there was one Ocean just picked up before for the side of AUEC.
Okay.
But
So it was definitely an Infernal. Oh yes, it was Infernal. So Cloud versus Infernal and an Ocean. Nice.
Yes, and next Ocean on its way up, but first one last Baron push down here in the bot lane. As it's a 4v4, as Nocturne and Zed are looking for that backline engage.
Yeah, it's a final inhibitor, final inner turret.
Cataclysm
comes in, and here comes the Paranoia. So much damage, and Zed just is not here yet. The stopwatch comes through, and that's the triple kill for the Lucian. Flag and drag in. Rotten Esfar will get taken down. No quadra kill for Trace to Race just yet, and that is what happens when Twister sits on the sidelines and tries to come in through the back. AUEC say, okay, fine, we'll just engage, and you don't have your most important member, as now the second Ocean Drake of the game is going to get started up.
Yeah, this could be third Drake.
Okay, here we go. Deathmark comes in, but it does not matter, and that's now going to be the Ace Polynomus. It did get taken down, but I don't think that was a worthwhile trade by Twister.
But it was cool. But yeah, definitely, like, we are seeing a slow turnaround for AUEC here. Finally, the more consistent comp, just doing more consistent stuff. And we have also IE Lucian, finally an item we like to see on the champ. And an Essence Reaver, oh my god.
He's had IE for about 5 minutes, Nicholas.
I mean, he just picked up an entire Essence Reaver, I don't follow.
He's had IE okay, actually no, he did get a lot of gold from that, so maybe it's only been like 3. However, that being said, we are hitting this kind of point in the game, the 26-minute mark, where we're seeing those 2 to 3 items coming through, and this is where we expected AUEC to be stronger with the likes of the Rumble and the Lucian, compared to something like a Twitch and a Mordekaiser that will scale much later on into the game.
Yeah, we're seeing some really interesting stuff coming out, like a full mail on Mordekaiser. That's not something I'm used to seeing, but hell, I'm excited.
Saga Drag very aggressive from Polynomus, and he almost gets caught out, but sidestepping the Dark Binding and the Death's Grasp will keep him alive.
Listen, he's a tank, he can do what he wants.
Yeah, he's got Aftershock, although I don't think he landed the Aftershock, so... Oh, wow! And now in comes the Deathmark as well. He looks for more, but he will get taken down. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Damin is forced to flash away as they find the concussive blows onto Rotten Esfar. Flame Spitter out, and that is Rotten Esfar going down as the inner turret falls in the bottom lane. 6 turrets for 2 at the moment. And now the potential collapse from AUEC as Protecting Guardian's getting very aggressive as the Equalizer once again misses his mark. Soul Shackles in, Cataclysm down onto 2, but the Twitch with the spray and pray, he'll find 1, he'll find 2, and now he turns on to Daminus, who finds the fear. Does he have enough damage? Does bring her, and he will find the kill, but it is an ace for the side of pardon me, is an ace for the side of Protecting Guardians, and now Netflix and Chill crashing in onto the inhibitor turret. Tracer Racer looking to burn through the minions. A Death Grasp in, and now they're culling out to buy Tracer Race some time. He's whittling through Netflix and Chill's health. Relentless pursuit forward, but he has to be careful of that Obliterate.
Yeah, and we also just see Twister just picking off Tracer Race was such a big impact, and it has just been his favorite job to do these 2 games. Just picking him off, making sure that the main carry threat is gone for the side of AUEC, and that's just how they make all their big map plays, just by being 1 member ahead, at least 1 important carry member ahead of the enemy team.
And yeah, this is something else that I wanted to mention, because you mentioned how Twister, finding these picks. Finally, Trace to Race has picked up that stopwatch. So vital for him, and he can now build towards that Guardian's Angel. But I do want to give a bit on the negative side, because I felt in game 1, actually never mind, here we go, Deathmark coming in. They're looking to turn around onto the Zed, who will use the Living Shadow to escape. The Element, oh, he comes in with the ambush, so much damage for the Cataclysm in, and Polynomics. Never mind. Glacial Prison finds his mark, and they look for Logan, who will be able to use stand behind wall. So much damage. You wanted Twitch to do damage, Nicholas. Well, the Infinity Edge has been purchased, and Twitch does damage.
Yeah, that's a Baron over, because that was AUEC just kind of question mark ping right there. What in the hell was the communication at? Because there was so many differences in what the both teams wanted to do, and now this should just be free. There's no way to contest, and Mephalatus might wait. Are you caught out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Twister, he doesn't even need
auto
it to
attack, auto
learn
attack,
the
auto
Razor
attack, auto
Shuriken. Yes. Exactly. And I want to kind of take a step back and look at this game from a more kind of the series actually from a more overarching perspective, because I don't want to pinpoint blame, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. And this isn't flame, but Mephalata and Polynomus really need to step up their game, because in game 1 he had his comfort pick, he had the Yorick, he got solo killed by a Kale, which I'm sorry is not something that should be happening. As goodbye Tracer Race. You do not step into your jungle unless you have vision in every single bush, and now Polynomics will probably be falling as well as the damage falls, and there we go, he just disappears in the blink of an eye, half his HP disappearing with the death mark, and this is going to be the triple kill for Twister. The third point is Daminus. I feel Daminus has been having fun. I think Twister has been outplaying him. Not by a massive amount, but by enough of an amount, and then, well, the rest of the team have kind of been inking kills away to Twister. And then finally, the bot lane. I feel like Trace to Race and Logan have been playing alright. Okay, they should have had a bigger lead into the Twitch Morgana, but I think it's been fine as Mephalata gets deleted, and Daminus will just about survive. But this, I'm sorry if you guys,
yeah, like
if our
this
viewers
game has
think
really
this game,
asked begging the question. Is assassins better ADCs than marksmen? Because they are just autoing attacking everybody to death.
Here we go.
Oh, he
so much
stopwatch!
damage coming in,
And
that's
down.
why you buy a stopwatch against the Zed, but it doesn't matter, the base is collapsing anyway. Daminus will get taken down. The Cataclysm onto Netflix and Chill, but he's surviving for so long as Warlord's armor coming in, but it does nothing at all. Netflix and Chill, he finds one, it's just the Brawler left, and protecting Guardians. After about 25 minutes, there was never any doubt they will take game 2 and take us on to match point.
Wow. But yeah, this is disgusting. Give these assassins to Twister, he carry.
Yep.
That's the yikes. Tracer Race is doing a great job, but there's just nothing he can do. He doesn't have the big boy tank doing all the stuff, because we have this Rumble instead as the AP carry. They needed AP in their team, and instead of going mage mid lane, they tried to just outplay him in Assassins, and that doesn't seem to happen. Twister just seems as the way better mechanically skilled mid laner, and he just knows exactly where to be at every point. begging the question: who is rated the superior mid laner?
And I want to go back to this mid lane question because I feel like we're being harsh on Daminus when it's not his fault. Because
I mean,
this
it's not really his fault. It's more that Twister is just that good.
Okay, no. I want to balance this out because I think the game defining play was that moment in the top lane. Daminus, if he had stayed mid lane, he would have picked up like another 15 CS or so, maybe more. And that's what set him back behind in CS. Daminus went top lane, he got 1 kill, he would have got a 2nd kill as well, but no offense, Mephalata inted. He went in, he stole 1 kill away from Daminus when Daminus had the kill, which, okay, sure, that's fine. But then he gave away the other kill to Netflix and Chill, who got the Triumph proc off, forced Daminus to flash away, and therefore Twister already picked up a CS lead, went in under turret, and Daminus had no flash to get out. That is what turned this entire thing around. Mephalata, how many times did he miss an equalizer in those fights? Where if he had landed an equalizer, AUEC would have come out by far on top in the fights. So I feel like there is a big step up that AUEC can do. They definitely have the skill ceiling to be able to win games, but they just are not executing right at the moment.
Milky, I'm the controversial caster here. I'm the one who's supposed to hard flame everyone, not you. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I said this at the start of the series. These guys are not challengers. This is not going to be a series about who picks, who drafts the best, what is going to be the best way to win this game. It's going to be a series about who makes less mistakes, and so far that has been protecting Guardians.
And as you heard it here, we just need that glacial comp to come back. It's definitely about the comp. It's always about the comp. That's the only way we can win the game. You can't just put random champions in. No. It has to be the 5 glacials, definitely. I'm gonna counterclaim that, Milky, as we are heading into game 3 soon after this short break and after the game match point here that we're gonna see for Protected Guardians as they're 2-0 up with Twister absolutely hard smashing 2 games in a row, and we are gonna be excited. Let's see how they will adapt, as Twister on these assassins have so far proven to be truly miraculous from the shadows.
Yeah, we'll be back in just a short bit, guys. Stay tuned.
Come and run again. You want a dose of this right now? It's KDA. I'm a goddess with a blaze. Story trouble 나 이름 잊지 못하게. Loud, 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 loud. I could take you to the top. 절대 멈추지 못해. 내가 끝내주는 bag, yeah, yeah, yeah. And when I start to talk that, oh, you know how to react. I'm a picture perfect face with the wild in my veins. You can hear it in my growl, growl, growl. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. 다 할 수 없는 대본. 나와 되길 원한 늘 확신해. We got it all in our hands now. So can you handle what we're all about? We're so tough. Let's get it, show you up. Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You can go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. Go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning now. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. You ready for this? Let's go. See, 언제든지 내 모습 매직 단 한 번에 내가 잡아 절대 기죽지 않지. 펴펴 네가 뭘 알아? 견딜 수 없어 원해도 원하는 게 얼굴에 보여. I'm troubling you running it. I'm so cold. When I move that way, you gon' be so blown. I'm the realest in the game. Said I'm on fire with the blade. You're about to hear my name, ringing in your head like whoa. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. We so tough. Let's get it, show you up. Can you feel the
Tell me where do I go? Tell me where do I take us? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe. As I dive in, bloodstains washing underneath the waves. I'll be reaching out to keep you safe. As we fall, I can't hold on much longer. We're drifting down to the other side. Try to pull us under. Keep holding out for the other side.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for picks and bans of Game 3 between DVN Protecting Guardians and AUEC Team A in the Serenity Gaming Division 3 Finals. Nicholas, we've been talking a little bit, looking towards this bot lane as well, but I still think we need to see a bit of a step up from Polynomus in the jungle. You know, playing into Sejuani, he should be able to have so much more presence. And we did see AUEC, in fact, picking up the first couple of drakes, but it all just seemed to go downhill for them after about 15 minutes in.
Yeah, definitely. The Aftershock Javan didn't quite carry the game, but also we have to see some shutdown onto Twister here because he's been absolute mad ladding it here for Protective Guardian, and he is the main carry point because they have in both games seen Tracer Race being actually prominent on ADC, but it just hasn't been able to carry because Twister will all the time just pick him off. I would really like to see how they adapt to deal with Twister, as well as how Polynomans and Metalafa will get back into this. Maybe not playing Aftershock Jarvan and Rumble without landing perfect Rumble equalizers, but we are getting into the champion select, so let's see how both teams are adapting, as Draven should probably still be in the champ select somewhere.
Yeah. Let's see if it does get banned away. And also, again, looking towards the mid lane, we've been talking about whether Daminus will pick up, you know, those anti-assassins, maybe something like the Galio if Protecting Guardians pick up the Akali, otherwise maybe something more along the lines of Elisandra.
Yeah, and Saya being banned away, and that's just such a good ban because it means that Tracer Race has no way of playing the most defensive ADC in the game, meaning that Twister has such an easy time dealing with it because they're just playing for him. And there we go, a Rengar again. Like, I want to say I like the Rengar ban, but at the same time, I want to see Rengar played. And Morgana going here as well, so no Kate Morgana either. And lastly, Olaf, so no just running it through the team as Polynomus in this game. And I guess Mephalata also plays in the top lane.
Yeah. And that Olaf getting banned pretty big. Again, I want to see something coming out like the Lee Sin. Again, it is kind of dependent if the players can play it. along with the likes of that Rek'Sai. And you know, if a J4 gets picked up, take a Galio with it. Take the chicken coop comp. It is so good. We saw the Nocturne in the previous game. Take that in the jungle and pick a Shen with it. You know, take some of these wombo combos that are so easy to execute.
Yeah, definitely. It's about the ease of accessibility here, but it also has to be comfort for these guys. They can't just pick stuff that they aren't comfortable on. As Fresh is locked in first this time, I think that's going to be paired with a Draven if it's not picked away now.
Yeah, we've seen Element on the Draven already this series. Maybe even the Caitlyn to come through. I like to hype up my Caitlyn. Let's see though how AUEC want to respond.
But apparently, I do think this is a skill matchup again, and I don't like the start of that because while Tracer Race and Legan has been performing well, I don't think that they have been performing adequately enough to just pick the same stuff again that they've picked in the previous game and try and make it work again. Because
I do like the Lucian Pike though.
Yeah, like it's a very aggressive lane, but now Twister just gets to play Assassin on one hit bot lane again. They need an adaptation to deal with Twister now.
Can I just say, if the Caitlyn gets locked in, called it. And now that I've said that, it's going to get switched over to a Draven, and that will get snapped up. But nice to see the priority is on, is in the bottom lane at the moment. So Element on this Draven once again. Interested to see how it will pair up into the Lucian Pike. And again, I think this bottom lane is not down to the ADCs. This is going to be a support matchup here.
Yeah, and we did see Element have a great performance on Draven in game 1, so I'm definitely not surprised at seeing now that it's up that it's just being picked over. As Aatrox is coming through here, and that should be top lane. I don't think we've seen a lot mid lane in preseason. It could be, I don't think so. And it's definitely a weak jungler. Definitely is. I can tell you that.
I want to go back to the bot lane because game 1 we saw the Draven Morgana coming out against the Tristana Pike. And again, I thought the ADC battle was somewhat even. In fact, Trace to Race was actually ahead of the Draven at numerous points. It's just that there were loads of other members of Protecting Guardians who were also ahead. Game 2 as well, he was ahead of the Twitch, which you would expect. And I feel like Trace to Race and Logan have been the most consistent members of AUEC. So if AUEC keep anything the same, it should be this bottom lane. But with a Kled getting picked up, that is an aggressive pick in the top lane. But crucially, what I do like a lot about it is a lot of rotation potential as the Zed gets banned away from Twister.
We have to remember flex picks, and Kled is a decent flex pick into the mid lane. And while he didn't get hurt as much by the Conqueror changes as others, like he just got better at dealing with squishies and worse at dealing with tank. It did also hurt him a lot because now he almost never remounts if he's playing in the top lane, which is really sad for him. And he also gets perma-camped in most lanes prior to level 6. So he can't do anything for the rest of the game. And seeing him in mid lane just makes a lot more sense. But into Aatrox, I would like to see it because it's a good counter pick. As Zed and Seju being banned over here. Ooh.
Okay, I do not know why they had banned the Sejuani. But sure, you know, ban Sejuani over the likes of Rek'Sai. Again, like I say this, but it does come down to what the jungler's champion pools are and if they can play those champions. But again, here I don't see any reason why something like a Rek'Sai or indeed that J4 just wouldn't get picked up by Protecting Guardians. Again, could just spam that bottom lane to get this Draven ahead.
I mean, they just banned comfort out for the other player, making them uncomfortable, making them not really sure of themselves coming into the next game. And that can also play a huge mental. As Skarner's picked up. Okay, that would be a big shutdown onto any one player. Definitely not something I've seen in preseason. Elise is good. Like Elise is actually a severely strong. Okay, Echo. Yep. Yeah.
Again, even if the Echo gets picked up, it could be an Echo mid and still Elise to get taken. But I mean, obviously an AP source is needed. Skarner, if I remember correctly, does have decent wave clear, but you know, just doesn't have that gank presence until level 6, which I think is a big issue as Need I say any more? If the Kata gets picked up, I would expect the Galio to come through from Daminus, or maybe the Lissandra as well. But he needs something, as the Renekton will come in. So,
The
the
double
flex pick.
flags.
Yeah, and it depends exactly on what Daminus wants to take, because, if he takes something that can get, engaged upon with that Renekton CC, then Twister will take it straight away. But the Rise is going to come in. So I guess this could be flexed around as well, but I'm expecting it to be Mephalata on the Kled with the Rise in the mid laners. That Kled can split push so well and then use a charge to rotate in.
Yeah, and Daminus has been very consistent in Rise. It has been his best champion in performance-wise, and playing against what I assume is a Renekton mid lane, it is very much like a skill matchup. And Rise should just be tanky enough, and as long as Renekton doesn't get his slice and dice off onto the Rise to really get onto him, it should still be fine for Rise, because he will just get so much poke and kiting off. And with a team with an actual decent amount of crowd control, Rise really excels.
And I'm just trying to break this down for myself internally, because I feel the top lane is interesting.
It's Kled favored. It's Kled favored.
It's Kled favored, but I still feel that it is volatile. And
Yeah, and that's probably because of the jungle matchup as well, because Echo likes ganking top lane as well.
True. But again, I feel like this does come down to the bottom lane once again. Again, we said this back when it was the Tristana into Draven. Okay. Let me get my point off first, and then you can rip me to shreds. All right. So, we saw with the Tristana into Draven, it was going to be a battle about who got those kills and who denied who, and there were kills going both ways, and the entire matchup was on a knife's edge the entire way through. Lucian into Draven, a little bit more early game aggression for Trace to Race, and with a Pike Thresh, this can just absolutely blow up with any mistakes being made. That being said, though, you do still have a lot of aggression with this Renekton Rise.
Yeah, and Draven has historically been a good counter to Lucian as well. And it's gonna be a very skill-dependent lane. Just because while Lucian has to actually kite around, there's nothing really to kite on Draven's get. He just does bigger auto attacks than Lucian does with his auto. It's just harder for him to progress the attack than Lucian. So, yeah, very hard matchup more so than anything else. And then just kiting from both ADCs. We're gonna see a lot in the bot lane, because dragons are still the number one most important objective of the game. More so than Nexus, just get that dragon,
Yeah. But I do feel, while I'm kind of trying to compare as much as I can and find the positives for AUEC, I think Protecting Guardians have 100% won this draft. Like, for me, it's not even a question. I think this draft is just much better for them.
They've got a lot of chase down, and they've got like a lot of just, we can extend on the turrets, no problem, we just dive you, we just run you down. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have a lot of high kiting potential. Like, it's a lot of movement speed, it's a lot of just skirmishing around in the fights, and then we have the Pike as the executor, just to really just, once you're down below this threshold, we ult. Yeah. And then you're dead. From the first game where we saw Legan on his Pike, I didn't see a lot of Death from Below is actually connecting. So I'm a bit worried, for their side especially, but I do believe that the team has the capability of pulling it off. It's a very bad and hard matchup for them to do it in, as they are already on match point, and they are not about to win it.
Yeah, and the final thing that I do want to mention is the kind of item power spikes that we're going to be seeing from the side of DVN Protecting Guardian, because Renekton will be getting strong at around that 2 item around 2 items. Same for Aatrox, same for Echo. Draven, Bloodthirster, Infinity Edge is so big for him. Whereas when you look at AUEC, he's kind of scattered around the map. Rise wants to get those 3 items. In fact, looking at the comp that Protecting Guardians has, he's probably going to go for that Righteous Glory or Frozen Heart build, where he picks up the tier and then rushes some armor.
Yeah, definitely like a scaling mana-like build, just getting him pretty tanky, and with Face Rush, yay! No more Conqueror BS! Meanwhile, we see Conqueror on so many other champions. We see Aftershock on the support, we see domination keystones in the jungle position, and PTA for ADCs. Just a very standard game setup.
Yeah. But again, let's go back to this mid lane because you know how much I like to hype up the jungle matchup so far, and how pivotal I think the early game is for these junglers,
and
especially
Echo is
with
just definitely the stronger early game jungler. It's not even close.
yeah. So the question is, Skarner is going to fall behind in that early game. What is the plan for Rotten Esfar? Is it, ganking lanes, and if so, which lane? Is it priority for Drake? Is it invading onto this Skarner's jungle?
Kill whoever you can.
Okay,
Yeah, and
that sounds
once
like
you
a good
got your
plan.
Yeah,
I
and
like
once
it.
you've got your jungle item, then you can start farming whenever you need to. You can start prioritizing Drakes because you have a huge smite because of your passive plus the runic echoes. Oh, it's that much damage. It's
You-
just insane.
You know what else I want to bring up? Because I've just seen in the chat someone has mentioned a Zac, but I think they should have picked a Rammus. Because Rammus just got a slight buff into this patch, and it's
Yeah,
practically a full AD team.
yeah, I'm gonna flame you now.
No, is Rammus not good at the minute?
I would say Rammus is very much lacking. He's good at ganking, but
Okay.
Zac is
Because
just like your all-arounder. He's the thing, he has decent dragon priority, he's good ganked, and then he's got an alright clear. Meanwhile,
fair.
Rammus' clear is very awkward,
Yeah.
and his ganking potential, while good, is still like, it's very reliant on setup. And then lastly, his dragon control is absolute horrifyingly bad.
Yeah,
So he
that's
struggles
fair.
a lot, and that's why he's got compensations buffs more so than buffs. Like these are like few numbers that's gonna make him a bit more viable, but it's the same reason why Amumu got that 2 seconds. But Amumu just works into the meta more than Rammus does, and therefore Rammus, he's gonna struggle a lot to find plays. Meanwhile, Zac with all his AoE and displacement can definitely work out if you just have the right team and a good enough understanding of him to get it off. So basically, don't let me play it.
Yeah, the reason why I just can't see Zac in the jungle because in the team that I play on, in another league, our top lane sub, he plays Zac, and every time he picks Zac top, we've won our games. So I just see Zac as a top laner right now because it's his comfort pick. So yeah.
Yeah, but tanks top lane are just OP, so why don't we see any? Yeah,
I don't
definitely
know.
like-
These teams have not got the memos just yet. They're still in conqueror abuser meta in the tops. You'd think pick an Ornn. It's so good.
Yeah, I picked that
oh,
on during Clash, so I'm a bit surprised. Oh my god, Chris, you are.
there's going to be a lot of damage coming down. The Ignite is ticking as well, and now they look towards Element. But Tracer Race is really low. Flash under the turret, and the final axe is not enough. Chris with the play, but he has to be careful because Logan could pick up a kill on his own, and so close. But yet, so far they do force 3 summoner spells. As the Death Sentence will find its mark, but Krista doesn't want to follow that one up as a Rune Prison under turret. Twister has to be careful as this game kind of exploding under turret, and the color of the meat comes through. Twister will get taken down, but it is first blood for the Angry Croc.
Yeah, 100 gold difference and a bit of EXP for minions, but you lose 2 sums for that. That's a big expense there for Twister. Like, I know he wants to get ahead, but he's giving something back to Damius, and that's what he has been really good at not doing at the earlier point in the series. Because now he actually gets his tier as well, and that really is a big power spike for that Rise to get a tier on his first back.
To be fair, though, they did burn the flash of Daminus, who has TP'd back, although he did get the tier because he got the return kill. So it's not 2 sums for nothing, so I guess somewhat playable. But let's see if we get any focus in this mid lane now from the junglers with both those crucial summoners down.
I mean, I understand from Twister's perspective he is the main carry, but I would probably say give some respect to your teammates and don't just flash in and ignite just to get an equal trade with maybe a 100 gold discrepancy. That's not
Um,
entirely worth it.
Maybe Twister, he took a look bot lane and he saw what was happening. It was like, nope, I am not chancing this, guys. I'm going right in.
Definitely could be the case, as bot lane and so far also been just very skirmishing. Just so much punishment going on, as Fresh now finally no longer has that coin. He gets this relic and he has to actually farm minions. So he's gonna have so much fun playing with all his new silver players who wants to play him, not being able to last him. It's gonna be so good.
I believe it still has the execution on it. I think from when I played him, as Rotten Esfar getting caught out, he flashes and he should be able to get out, but the double TP coming in, and that's a good death sentence onto Logan, and the Flay will cancel the Phantom Undertow. A second kill of the game going to the Protecting Guardians.
Yeah, and another one over to Twister. We know what this means.
Oh, great.
Cloud Drake's being started. There's 4 people priority. Oh,
And that is a Cloud Drake, so some nice ultimate cooldown reductions, and it's actually what you want to see if you're Protecting Guardians, because you don't want to be getting the Cloud Soul. I feel you want to be hoping to get that RNG for an Infernal Soul, so you can just get so much more damage, and what is a team that would absolutely love to get more damage?
Yeah, and I learned something new today, because you are correct. They did add a passive to the new Steel Shoulder Guards and Relic Shield, that range champions, when they're below 30% health on the minions, they will also execute them now, which is nice for them.
Yeah, Twister getting a little bit low. Thank you very much for that, Daddy. Always appreciate your love in the chat. But back to this game, though. We've got that mountain coming up in a bit, which I guess does work somewhat well for Rotten Esfar and Netflix and Chill. But that ocean, it means we're going to be getting an ocean or an Infernal Soul, which I feel for Protecting Guardians is the best case scenario.
Definitely is. Woo. No, but so far just a lot of skirmishing. We're seeing Twister really just being the main of this game so far. And we did talk about we need to shut him down. So when this kind of hits level 6, I'm expecting him to be mid lane. I'm expecting the Pike to be mid lane, and I'm expecting Twister to still 1v3.
Let's see as the Infernal Chains come out. Mephilata will get hooked in, or pulled in, I should say. And he has been dismounted. Has to be careful of that remount as Pocket Pistol comes through. Mephilata will get a bit of HP with the level up.
Yeah, and Kled seems like such a different champion than before, because before we all knew he was the strongest champion. It was not even like, maybe like Mordekaiser's is contesting now. Kled just won more games for simple reasons that he was just so much harder to deal with when he snowballed. But there was no such item that just removed all his perfect like OPness. But now he's just way more manageable, and this Aatrox just clearly just outclassing so far.
I still stand by my point that AUEC should have left the Z open and then picked a Garen mid. But I know you don't like it, Phantom Undertow.
No level 6
Skarner is bot lane, but not a level 6. But the damage coming out onto Chris, the heal will come through. Element, though, kiting to the best of his ability, almost finds the kill onto Polynomis. And there will be no kills coming through. Rift Herald is up, and we will be getting that Mountain Drake in just over 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, and there's just nothing to do. Krissa has a prestige skin, you can't really do anything. You might as well just surrender. Milky finally realizing it's a new prestige. Fresh
Wait,
skin.
what?
Ooh. Prestige fresh.
Just a skin.
Nah, it's a prestige skin. It's so
Yes.
prestigious you have to pay massive amounts of money just to get it.
Yeah, wow. I'm still proud, never spent a single penny on this game, but here we go. They're looking for Chris. It's a decent play. Phantom Undertow in, and that's Chris locked up. That's one kill going over, and now the culling comes in, but Trace to Raze is taking a really no, and now Element trying to kite onto Lagan, but the depth from below comes through as a Dominus. They're looking for Dominus, and Twister will pick up the kill. Rotten Esfar will get taken down. He did use the chrono break as it is a 2-4-1 in the mid lane, but it's a 1-for-nothing in the bot lane for AUEC.
Yeah, and Polynomics just went down pretty much without a reason there. He just went up to Twist and auto-attacked them and then died. Not much happening in there after Twisted just completely towered over Taminus. Meanwhile, we did see Mafalata got a pick up onto the Echo here, like Runsfar finally falling down. But he has a Dark Seal, he has his Runic Echoes, there's like so much good stuff happening so far for Protected Guardians that even though that they're slightly behind the goal, it shouldn't really matter too much for them.
And I want to bring this up because Rotten as far, I'm really questioning his decisions this game, because with 10 minutes in, he has not been bought once as a call of the meat in the mid lane, won't find anything, but he hasn't been bought once, and as a result, Element hasn't got a kill, and he hasn't been able to pick up those stacks. He's died and he's lost half of those stacks. If Rotten as far turned up once bot lane, maybe that's a kill for Draven. If you're going to pick a Draven, you need to put some emphasis towards him. You can't be just like, oh, our ADC's pocket picks a Draven, let's just take that as, here we go, that's the kill for Netflix and chill, easy as you like, onto Mephalada. But going back to my point, you can't just say, oh, you know, this is our Draven, it's his comfort pick, we're just going to take it and put no effort into him as Polynomius getting caught out and Twister onto a killing spree.
Yeah, and it's just snowballing out of control as AUEC just getting pick after pick, 4-1 and 1 Renekton. Now, this is second Drake of the game, right? Yeah.
Yep, Mountain Drake going over to the side of Protecting Guardians. They've already picked up that Cloud Drake. So Cloud and Mountain, and it is an Infernal. So exactly what Protecting Guardians could have hoped for, as, oh no, the death sentence finds its mark. The damage comes through, but it's not quite enough. Element gets taken down as the Draven just cannot find that consistent DPS. And Logan, despite missing the bonus skewer, picks up the double kill. And Rotten Espar just 10 seconds too late to the party and won't be able to find anything at all.
Yeah, and while Element did play a nice game one, we have just seen AUEC just consistently being the just slightly better bot lane here, and we just see it in this game really blow open with this Pike just landing absolutely every fear beyond death or death from below, as it's the other executing ult that I'm thinking of.
I'm going to give the counterpick to that, because okay, right, hear me out on this, because I don't think Element played bad in game one, but I don't think he played good either. I don't think he did anything that...
he didn't have to mega carry, but he did play good.
Because in my opinion, Trace to Wraith outplayed him in the bottom lane. He just ended up getting loads of kills as a byproduct of his team smashing AUEC. And as a result, he was really far ahead, and then he just did Draven things. And I think it's a similar situation here. As we see the World Ender coming through, and the Darkened Blades come out, but I don't think it's quite enough damage, as Bone Skewer will land onto Draven, but there's no follow-up as in the top lane. Oh, they will find the ultimate, but is it going to be enough? Netflix and Chill is low, but he might look to turn this around as a Realm Orb coming in. Netflix and Chill staying alive for so long, but he will finally get taken down. Three members coming topside to pick up that kill.
Yeah, and meanwhile, top and mid just doing a quick lane swap just to make sure that Damius just gets some gold for actually going topside.
Yeah.
But that should either go back to the norm or...
Oh, another death sentence finds his mark, and it's a two-man CC in the parallel convergence. Out comes the whirling death. Rotten Espar turns up once, and Element picks up... Oh no, he doesn't pick up his first kill of the game because Rotten Espar takes it.
Yeah. Draven's needing kills. No, they need assist.
Yes, 100%. And I mean, this is the point that I was trying to make before. You know, you have to get kills onto the Draven. You can't have a Draven, and you know, sure, you're playing into Illusion Pike.
Oh my.
There's probably going to be a lot of kills as Trace to Wraith puts out a lot of damage. Double BF Sword Bill coming through. No. Face dive under turret. Oh, but trying to break out, and one auto will do it. Flash forward, and Element picks up his first kill of the game.
Yeah. I'm a bit sad that that was a kill to Element. It should actually have been to Chris as the real lady carry on that lane. But no, definitely like really
Here we
well
come
played.
with a charge. Step from below will not be able to find his mark. The play comes through, but is it going to be the engage from protecting Guardians or disengage? Disengage it will be, as Chris sacrifices his life as the violent tendencies come through, and that's going to be the shutdown for Methalata as AUEC find 2 kills, but it is in trade for 2 turrets as Twister finds the outer turret in the mid lane.
Yeah. Oh, and Twist also just finds Polynomus apparently. But even with Death from Below missing, it was still very nicely done in bot lane getting 2-0. But now Twister, you might have bit off a bit too much. You get. Oh, the shutdown goes over to Methalata. He's 4-1-1 on this clan. He's actually doing it, Milky. He's doing it.
Yeah. Finally, we find a pick that Methalata is doing well on, but, you know, he's not 4-1 because of anything else other than the fact that he's just found 3 kills in the last 2 minutes. 2 kills in that bottom lane and 1 kill just now. Otherwise, you know, we'd be saying, oh, he's 20 CS behind Netflix and Chill. Netflix and Chill, you know, once again winning this lane. So 1 good rotation from Methalata coming in really big for him.
Yeah, and we should probably just mention how Trace the Race is currently dual-wielding best friend swords here, with 2 of them bad boys.
I mentioned that.
Mhm.
And the
And
Storm Racer now
with the
picked up.
proto
I
belt
literally
on-
said, when you
proto
said, oh,
belt
look at that damage onto Krista, I said, yeah, he's got the double BF swords.
Oh my, that's an
Oh,
excellent.
he flashes out of the overload. Do they have their damage? World Ender in, and they will pick up the kill before Daminus can find one onto Netflix. But Shelly charging for the flay comes through, and well, Shelly's going to be very, very sad as the Inferno. Oh, they find the pick onto Twister. Twister will try to get out, but Death from Below misses his mark, and Twister will get taken down as Logan picks up the kill. Another bone skewer. Chris are forced to flash away as out comes the culling. They're going to look for Polynomus, and they will find the kill. Chris is still alive, as is Rotten Espa, but that is a good chrono break. He flashes to avoid the CC, and Rotten Espa comes up huge. The TP now getting channel. Can they find the kill onto Methalata in time? Rotten Espa with nowhere to go. He could look for the face dive. Maybe tried to go in onto Trace to Race, but he has to be careful. Looking to turn it around. Parallel Convergence comes in. He won't be able to find the shield. Face dive, can he do it over the wall? Yes, he can. And Rotten Espa, the Realm Up coming in. Rotten Espa still has to run for his life, but he should be able to get out of this one, and he's wasted so much time that the Infernal Drake will not get taken just yet. Parallel Convergence buying even more time. All the members heading bot side to try to kill him. Rotten Espa surely will die at this point. Who will the kill go over to? Thankfully, it's Polynomus.
Yes, the absolute mad chat there, doing the perfect just puff, but like, meanwhile everybody else doing the biggest chaseroo of all time. Infernal Drake's still up, and a lot of members haven't backed yet for AUEC, so this is going to be an interesting fight. With no
Yeah,
jungle for
as
West
you
of
mentioned, the
Smart.
backs are not in just yet. Polynomus will secure the Scuttle Crab, but here we go, the fight coming in. Rotten SFR is not here. This is a 4v5, but look at the damage! Netflix and Joe finds one. They find Polynomus, and now they turn to the river. They're looking for Methalata. Bear Trap on a road will be able to find his mark, but where is Methalata going from here? The axes come spinning down. Methalata is dismounted, and Methalata is going to the grave. 4 kills for nothing. Protecting Guardians win the fight, and now they will look for the Infernal Drake. All of this down to that fantastic play from Rotten SFR, who has arguably just won the game. But this game is not over just yet. He won the fight, and he has won this Drake for his team. An absolutely fantastic performance by the Echo.
Yeah, definitely. We are seeing some massive amounts of plays currently going on, and there's just so much power onto this lineup for Protected Guardians as one shutdown coming over, and nice 900 gold extra as well because of the pike. But is it enough? Is it really?
Pardon me, not Rotten Bar. All I can think about is Rotten Bar right now. But Netflix and Chill just overextending when the rest of his team is back, and just absolutely no need to have done that there, as Seeing a bit of a death rush coming in for the side of Devilian protecting Guardians. Let's see if they can catch anyone out. They don't really have anything to push for right now. We've got a Baron coming up in 50 seconds, so if they can get a few kills before that, that'd be great. And, well, they're going to be coming in with the flank, as out comes the Whirling Death beforehand. We won't do anything other than find a couple of HP damage as Element, he flashes into his team. He's going to get taken down, but the rest of the fight surely will go the way of protecting Guardians. Chrono Break out, Twister finds one. The TV getting channeled in as Polynomis and Legan, Logan so low as Daminus and Netflix and Chill are fighting. Will actually cancel the Realm Warp, and Daminus will get taken down with the Darkin Blade as Logan is still running for his life, and he's going to run right into the waiting arms of Chris. He sidesteps the death sentence, but will not be able to sidestep the flay, and Logan, he's going to just about be able to make it out, and there he goes with the W to safety.
Yeah, and we just also have to realize how much healing this lineup has. They have Draven with already great healing and Bloodthirster. They've got Renekton, who's just gonna massive heal up in fights. Aatrox with ult and they have stance already going, and Echo
Logan playing very aggressive, and here comes Rotten
Oh
F5.
my.
He finds one, and now they look to trace. They find the pick as well. The Impale does practically nothing, and now they go under turret. Death Sentence finds its mark. The axes are coming through as well. Polynomis just about surviving, but the inner turret will not, protecting Guardians. 20 minutes in, make their way onto the base of AUEC, and surely they'll be picking up the inhibitor turret, as AUEC have no way to prevent protecting Guardians just from pushing further and further in.
Yeah, and just an amazing play we just see from Runners this far. As that Pyke went
Very aggressive. Rotten Esfar finds the kill. AUEC try to make a stand, but instead they are going to get absolutely wiped. Mephalada falls as well. 3 kills for nothing. The culling comes through. Members are very low. Look at Element and Chris. One Rise combo would wipe them out. Netflix and Chill just about surviving, and that's Twister onto a rampage. Trace Race is the only member left, but protecting Guardians will not look for the end. They probably could have, but there is a Baron up, and just like in game 1, protecting Guardians will do this step by step.
Yeah, despite getting a 4-0 there, they don't overagree and just say, alright, that's a bit of extra gold heading into the Baron. Because that was the entire reason they took a fight, because once they get Baron, they will just win the game. It's still a really strong objective despite like losing 30 seconds of it.
I'm going back to what I said in the draft, and maybe if someone from Twitch chat has an idea, but what has the Skarner done in this game? What could he have done in this game?
Crystallize.
Yeah, and you know, you highlighted how bad the Rammus is, but you know, at least Rammus would have been somewhat of a counter into this comp.
Yeah. I would, however, have liked to see a few more hooks coming in here from the side of the Pyke, because I could definitely still set up the pick for the Skarner. Just Pyke hook into the Skarner ult, that would be perfect.
And
it should be
we'll
pretty impossible. As is this the 4th Drake? Is this the 4th Drake for
this is indeed the 4th Drake. 22
Yeah.
minutes in, so very quickly. Again, there was only a slight delay of the 3rd Drake. That mega play from Rotten Esfar, because if he didn't find those picks, that was going to be the Infernal Drake and the fight going over to AUEC. And maybe with a Drake of their own, it would have turned things around now. AUEC, I don't know if they can get into the pit. No, they can't. Second Infernal goes to protecting Guardians. And crucially, it is at the Infernal Soul as well. And Nicholas, I think this game is over.
You think so? Nah, I think the finals are over, because we are gonna see one last Baron play. If this Baron goes down for Protective Guardians without being permanently wiped, this series should be won by them.
Yep. And here we go. The Blast Cone will get picked up. Again, I think this is somewhat of a risky play. It's not needed by protecting Guardians, but let's see how it goes. Baron down to 7,000 HP. Here we go with the charge. Colleen comes there. AUEC will go in. Mephalata, they'll find one kill. And that's going to be Rotten Esfar going down 1-for-1 so far. But Polynomus gets it taken down as well. 2-4-2 with both junglers biting the bullet. But protecting Guardians are not done yet. They are happy with this trade. And they are going to push into the mid lane.
Yeah, and Damon is just in the back line, did so much damage, and they couldn't turn onto him. That was the big thing there. If they could have, they definitely would have seen a lot better results. But this was just a really good flank, and he just got a perfect combo of picking off two, making it just a little bit harder for them to end the game here for Protected Guardians.
AUC take the risk with a fight, and the risk pays off. They get the 2-for-2 trade. They keep their base intact, or I should say their Nexus turrets intact, and the Baron is still up. And maybe now they can find a pick onto Twister as well, who'll be forced to flash over the wall, but he has no protection. Polynomus does not have the Impale available, but they will chase regardless. Logan making his way, but the slice and dice over the wall will take Twister out to safety.
Little Renekton on the run, little Crocodile done.
Okay, so I do want to bring in one aspect of this game. If AUEC can delay this game, let's say it goes to an Elder Drake and there is a fight for it, is there at least scaling on the side of AUEC?
I mean, as Morello and Bramble was already out, so the healing is kind of being prevented already. What they really need here is massive damage onto the Ryze, massive damage onto the Lucian, and most importantly, a pick target every single fight. They have Skarner, they have Pyke, they need to get picks. Ryze is decent in team fights, Lucian's also okay, but they really need picks, that's what the comp does.
Polynomus getting slightly caught out, and the Infernal Chain's coming over the wall. They have the damage, but they will not find the kill. The Baron getting whittled down, now down to 4,000 HP. Flash over the wall. They find the kill on Tracer. This is the fight that's already 2 kills coming in. Polynomus gets taken down. Mephalata in the pit, but he will not be able to find the kill. Mephalata will fall. It's only Logan remaining, and Netflix and Chill wants that kill as well. Flash over the wall. He'll get hit by the Phantom Undertow, but it doesn't matter because protecting Guardians are rushing onto the base of AUEC. Netflix and Chill under turret. He wants this, but I don't think he'll be able to get a CC'd under turret. But Netflix and Chill is a tanky boy as the villain protecting Guardians. They have been fantastic all split. They look for the final Nexus turrets. There is nothing AUEC can do, but they will have a final stand here. It's not going to be enough. Protecting Guardians will protect their series, and they will take the win, and they are your Serenity Gaming Division 3 champions.
And what a performance put up. This team has done so much, and we just saw especially Twister just being the captain for the team, doing all the risky plays, taking all the carry potential that can be culminated into the game and just putting it on his shoulders for this team. This team is just built around him, and they've done such a great job. Really just having the control tower in the mid lane, just making sure the entire map works. And even with a few more pickups on him this game, it was still doing amazing performance, and his team really just feels so much safer when they know that they have Twister just being able to 1v2 every now and then.
Yeah. And I was going to say, who are we giving MVP to? But, you know, I guess there can only be one answer to that. I
You
think
mean
Twister...
we're not giving it to Mephalata? We're not giving it to Daminus, who had less gold than Leogan? Aww.
No, and we're not giving it to Polynomus either for losing 2 jungle matchups where he definitely should have won, and then, well, picking the Skarner.
Yeah, and I will, however, say Tracer Race put up an amazing performance. Like, he was probably the most consistent player on his team, and he, in every single game, got enough of a lead for it to look like they had a standing chance in the game. It was just not possible to deal with a team that's so well constructed around carrying, especially when they have Twister, who just clear and beyond definitely the MVP of the series and the MVP of this Division 3 autumn spring Serenity Gaming final.
Um. Wow. Well, a complete stomp, I guess, from Protecting Guardians. I want to look at this game because one thing I do want to mention is Dominus's build because I mentioned at the start, take the tier, then go for, your armor item, that Righteous Glory, the Dorian B build, as I think it's called.
Sonya's.
Yeah. Zonya's even, but I think go for, the likes of that Righteous
Armor.
Glory, the Frozen Heart, or even if you want, go for a Thornmail if you want some of that Grievous Wounds. And the other thing is, like, take that Morella, but just pick up the Oblivion Orb so you can get that Zonya's a little bit earlier, I think.
Yeah, like I would definitely say that Morello was needed, but I don't know if he was strong enough in the game to actually be able to pick it up. I do, however, think Dominus in one fight did particularly well, but he had a very rough time, especially when Necton matchup is pretty hard. It's definitely Necton favored, but there was not much you could do, and that was because Twister just had an amazing performance. I do, however, think that it was just a complete amount of out skill that came into this game with Protected Guardians just individually tearing apart. Meanwhile, we just saw the bot lane being the one outlier where Trace to Race and Logan had a bit better synergy and had a bit more on point skill shots. But with Twister, Rod and Zafar, and Netflix and Chill, just making sure consistently every single game they are the ones doing all the work, it's just clear to see why Protected Gardens won here, and very big congratulations here from the castle scene.
Yeah. Any final words then before we sign off?
Ban the assassins. No, pick
Well,
them
they
tanks.
definitely they banned the assassins in this game, but Twister made Renekton an assassin.
Yeah. Nah, but pick your tanks in the top lane, have fun. It's been so amazing to cast this. We are looking forward to seeing you later tonight for the Division 2 final. If you will tune in, that would be great. Awesome. Thanks to all sponsors. Thanks for everybody tuning in. It's so great that we get to cast this, and congratulations to the Villian Protected Guardians for making it this far and winning the entire thing, and AUEC for getting to the final. CA putting up a great performance, though just struggling here at the end game. We hope to see all of you later, and it has been so great that we get to cast for you.
Yeah, as Nick said, thank you very much for tuning in. Final shout out to our sponsors of FarUp, Streamboss, Kims, and Trickass Esports. Divillion Esports are your Serenity Gaming Division 3 champions. Nicholas is going to be casting on later tonight, so make sure you tune in from that. But from myself and Nicholas, say tilt proof on the Rift, and good morning.